This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning. Could NIB rates be going up every 2 years? The Attorney General says passport application protocols being finalized after recent citizenship rulings. And in our discussion, we are talking about what's coming out of the latest United Nations Permanent Forum on People of African Descent and the talk of reparations. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Wednesday, June 21st, 2023. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Chester Robards will be joining us. Also this morning, it's our monthly segment with Bristol Wines and Spirits. We're going to be talking with them, as always, in business this morning. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you were sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, Minister of State in the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for NIB, Miles Larota, revealing last night that in order to save the National Insurance Fund from doom, the National Insurance Board rate will increase by 1.5 percentage points from 9.8% to 11.3% on July 1st, 2024, and increase every 2 years after that by the same amount for the foreseeable future. Larota speaking comprehensively on the state of NIB and its future during debate on the 2023-24 budget debate in the House of Assembly. While in his contribution he used the 1.5 percentage points increase as an example, he confirmed to the National Guardian late last night that it is, in fact, the increase agreed to by Cabinet. Larota said the government has not yet decided, however, how long into the future increases will take place. He said the recommendation was for 10 increases of 1.5. He said, quote, that part we haven't decided on what we're going to do, but it will be multiple increases. told the NASA Guardian, quote, "It will be more than one. We need at least 3 of them to get us to the point of breaking even." The Prime Minister recently announced that a rate increase will take place next year in July, but did not at the time say how much of an increase is coming. Lorota says that the rate increase will be shared equally between the employer and the employee. As a result of the 1.5 percentage points increase, he explained that the employer's portion rises from 5.9% to 6.65%, and the employee's portion rises from 3.9% to 4.65%. He says in the first year, paying the weekly minimum wage of $260 will increase the employer's portion from $15.34 to $17.29. The employee's contribution on the minimum weekly wage will increase from $10.14 to $12.09. For both the employer and the employee, this represents a difference of $1.95 per week. Works Minister Alfred Sayers says that he is very pleased with the performance of BPL in supplying the new $300 million Nassau cruise port, as well as the new U.S. Embassy under construction at the junction of East Street and Shirley Street. Sayers telling the House Assembly that BPL has expanded its substation on East Street not only to supply power to the cruise port, but also to the U.S. Embassy in the surrounding area. He says the first phase of the work was completed in May and ahead of the port's opening. He says, quote, BPL is now going into the next phase of the expansion that will not only power the new multi-million-dollar cruise port, but also bolster supply for the expanding area, inclusive of the U.S. Embassy, and the completion of the electrical expansion in downtown Nassau. Speaking of the cruise port, Central Grand Bahama MP Aram Lewis saying the Davis administration is one of contradiction and conflict. That got Tourism Minister Obi Wilshcombe to say that a bad cruise port deal does not mean that the cruise port itself has turned out bad. Lewis made his claim while holding up 2 different NASA Guardian articles while he contributed to the 2023-2024 budget debate in the House. One article was from last week's Thursday's edition, reporting on Immigration and Labor Minister Keith Bell's declaration in the House that the deal for the cruise port was one of the worst ever in history. The other article was the lead story yesterday, under which the Deputy Prime Minister praised the cruise port. Lewis asked, whose report do you believe? Rising on a point of order, Obi Wilshcombe, the Minister of Social Service and Urban Development, said, quote, I don't intend to waste too much time with the member on his claim that it's a government of contradiction, because he's not proven there's any contradiction. One member, Bell, has a view that the member has said he believes it's a bad deal, but no one ever said it's not a good port. That's not a contradiction. A bad deal is a bad deal. What makes that contradictory? They're 2 different views. Zay Lightboard, the Yamacraw MP and Minister of State for Ministry of Education, who supported Bell from his seat last week, rose on a point of order also, saying that Lewis was intentionally misleading. And Attorney General Ryan Pinder says that government protocols are being finalized for the Passport Office on how to proceed with applications from individuals impacted by a recent Privy Council ruling that under Article 6 of the Constitution, all children born in the Bahamas out of wedlock to Bahamian fathers and foreign mothers are Bahamians at birth. Pinder indicating that what now needs to be finalized is proof of paternity in matters where the father's name is not on the birth certificate. He indicated that for individuals whose father's name is on their birth certificate, the Passport Office is free to begin processing their applications for passports. Pinder also saying that possession of small amounts of cannabis could be treated like a traffic ticket if government's draft cannabis legislation becomes law. He says the cannabis legislation framework also provides provisions that will allow medicinal and religious use of cannabis. Pinder says the consultation process is going to be widespread and that they will listen to the consultation. He says with respect to the decriminalization, there is a decriminalization framework within what they're going to be releasing in July after independence. He says that would effectively decriminalize a smaller amount and treat it, again, like a traffic ticket. Overseas, a Canadian military surveillance aircraft detecting underwater noises as a massive operation continues today in a remote part of the North Atlantic for a submersible that vanished while taking 5 people down to the wreck of the Titanic. A statement from the U.S. Coast Guard did not elaborate on what researchers believe the noises could be, though it offered a glimmer of hope for those lost aboard the Titan, as estimates suggest as little as a day's worth of oxygen could be left if the vessel is still functioning. Meanwhile, questions remain about how teams could reach the lost submersible, which could be as deep as 12,500 feet below the surface near the watery tomb of the historic ocean liner. Newly uncovered allegations also suggest there's been significant warnings made about vessel safety during its development. And China today calling comments by U.S. President Joe Biden referring to Chinese leader Xi Jinping as a dictator, quote, extremely absurd and irresponsible. The new clash of words coming just over a day after Secretary of State Antony Blinken concluded a visit to Beijing that sought to break the ice in a relationship that has hit an historic low. The foreign ministry spokesperson saying that Biden's comments at a fundraiser in California, quote, go totally against facts and seriously violate diplomatic protocol and severely infringe on China's political dignity. At a briefing, the spokesperson saying, quote, it is a blatant political provocation. China expresses strong dissatisfaction and opposition. The U.S. remarks are extremely absurd and irresponsible. Well, Blinken's visit, during which he met with Xi, was aimed at easing tensions between the two superpowers, but appeared not to have achieved any solid results. Biden, at the fundraiser Tuesday night, said that Xi was embarrassed over the recent tensions surrounding a suspected Chinese spy balloon that had been shot down by the Air Force over the East Coast. In sports, Bombs' chances of moving out of the Americas Group 3 and into Group 2 in Davis Cup action for 2024 taking a serious hit as they drop their second consecutive matchup in the regional tournament at the Club Internacional de Tennis in Paraguay. Bombs falling to the host nation 3-0, now winless in 5 tries against Paraguay in Davis Cup history. In the first match of the day, Denali Nodic played in the number 1 position in singles for the country and lost in 3 sets to Martin Antonio Vergara de Puerto, 6-3, 5-7, and 6-2. A match that lasted 2 hours and 16 minutes. Nodic won just 62% of his first serves, compared to 73% for his opponent. In the second match, playing in the number 2 position, Kevin Major Jr. suffered a straight sets loss to Adolfo Daniel Vallejo, 6-4 and 6-4 in a match that lasted an hour and 29 minutes. You can read more about how the team did in today's Guardian Sports section. Time for your first look at weather, brought to you by Nescafe Coffee. We've got streaming tropical moisture that's triggering unsettled weather across the Bahamas, while a ridge of high pressure supports gentle to fresh breezes across the country. Beachgoers in the southeastern Bahamas should be alert due to the risk of rip currents along easterly beaches, and mariners are advised to remain alert for possible waterspot activity. Everybody's again being advised to remain hydrated and avoid prolonged sun exposure due to triple-digit heat indices again today, and there is a risk of mild flooding during heavy showers. Your forecast for today for the northwest Bahamas, variably cloudy, humid, and hot with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms, remaining cloudy and warm with widely scattered showers and thunderstorms tonight. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near showers and thunderstorms. Winds southeasterly at 10 knots or less, falling light and variable at times, seas 1 to 3 feet. For the central southeast Bahamas, variably cloudy, hot, and breezy today with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. That will continue through tonight into the central Bahamas, becoming fair and warm with isolated showers with thunderstorms in the southeastern islands. Small craft in the southeast Bahamas should exercise caution. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in showers and thunderstorms. Winds southeast at 10 to 15 knots in the central Bahamas, increasing to 15 to 20 knots in the southeastern islands. Seas 2 to 4 feet in the central islands, but building to 4 to 6 feet in the southeast Bahamas. Temperature-wise right now, it's about 80 degrees Fahrenheit under mostly cloudy skies. Look for highs getting to around 91 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius, but the heat index, we're looking at another day of triple-digit heat indices. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 75 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. Your first look at weather brought to you by Nescafe Coffee. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold. You're listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center is here to help small businesses throughout the entire Bahamas. To better serve you, we've made it easier to contact us. Call 461-7232, WhatsApp 359-0626 or 359-2394, email helpdesk@spdcbahamas.com, or submit a ticket when you visit our help center at accessaccelerator.org. The Access Accelerator, empowering small business.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
I'm Lasagna Meze, Managing Director of RBC Royal Bank Bahamas, with some big news that will elevate your debit card experience. RBC's new Visa debit chip card will soon be here. To make things easier for you, we're offering free FedEx delivery when you validate your contact details. No need to wait in line. We'll bring the card straight to you. Call 356-8500. Select option 7 for Visa Debit Direct Line and update your delivery address. Our team is available weekdays between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Take advantage of the security and convenience of chip and PIN technology. Free delivery is for a limited time, so act now.
That's the sound of your car or truck. That's the sound of your horn. Get in here with an auto loan. RBC makes it easy to get your own.
Get
in gear with an RBC auto loan with up to 100% financing, extended repayment, and low interest rates. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/gear up. Conditions apply.
That's the sound of your car or truck. That's the sound of your horn. Get in gear with an auto loan. RBC makes it easy to get your own.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef. It's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
Indulge in an experience that awakens your senses with Nescafe Gold. Premium Arabica coffee beans, carefully selected, roasted to perfection, and finely ground, resulting in a unique and unmatched flavor and aroma that captivates the senses. Enticing aroma, smooth taste. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. The start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Chester Robards. Good morning, Chester.
Good morning.
Great to have you with us.
Glad to be here.
All right. Got a lot to talk about this morning. A lot going on. This is what I wanted to see. Okay. Yeah. Great. Coming up in just a few minutes, we are going to get an update on something that happened at the UN just a few weeks ago, and what came out of the UN Permanent Forum on People of African Descent. And a guest on our show often, Dr. Nambi Hall Campbell Dean. I think I've got the names mixed up in the wrong order there. But anyway, spoke to this forum and talked about why reparations are important. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk with her this morning.
Okay.
So she's with the Bahamas Reparations Committee. And so a lot of interesting things to talk to her about this morning. Later in business, it's our monthly segment with Bristol. Looking forward, as always, to talking with them.
Yep.
And so that's all straight ahead on this Wednesday, where there's a lot to talk about right now in the news. The big headlines in the papers are all about NIB, and if you pick up the NASA Guardian and the other daily paper, you might be a little confused because one says NIB may increase every 2 years, but the NASA Guardian says NIB rate will rise every 2 years. Arcandia Dames dug deeper than what was said in the House of Assembly and called the Minister of State responsible for national insurance, Miles LaRota, to say, hey, what is the deal? And he confirmed. He confirmed. We're going to get into that in just a moment. So you don't have to guess. This is what's supposed to happen. How long will it increase? Because it's supposed to be for the foreseeable future. What does that mean? Does that mean indefinitely? Maybe not, but it's happening. All right, so we're going to get to that in a bit. The other thing that's caught my eye, there's quite a few stories, actually. We'll see how many of these we can get to. We'll get to the AG and passports, and based on the ruling from the Privy Council on who's a Bahamian, if your father is a Bahamian but your mother is not, and you're born out of wedlock, and what the AG's office is doing to finalize the protocols for this. We'll get to that in a bit. And if we have time, I know a lot of you are very concerned about it, about medicinal marijuana and decriminalizing small amounts, what the AG is saying about that as well. All right, so the other thing, though, BPO, we've been talking about them for quite a bit, and I knew this couldn't be all, because this would be a problem with we have on the front page, the Minister of Works, who's responsible for BPO, saying that BPL gets high marks for supplying power to the cruise port and the new U.S. Embassy. Like, what now?
You mean keeping the power on?
For them, while the rest of us...
Is that what he means?
No. But, I mean, there's no mention of all the other issues in this story. But the rest of us are buying more candles and considering generators, while they must get high marks for what now? Okay. Well, anyway, there's more in the papers about what he said yesterday, including the business section, a story by one Chester Robards.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, this guy. Sayers on BPL fuel charge, no relief until next year. He says it's imperative that we reduce BPL's reliance on fossil fuel. Are they related? Oh, that's because that's a learning lesson.
Yes.
Right. So now you see why we must reduce. Is that we've known this for decades, though?
Long.
Right. So we didn't need 2023 to tell us this. We've been telling them for what? Anyway.
There's been writing on the wall at BPL since longer than I've been around.
In fossil fuel. But I don't know. Okay. Anyway, so Chester Robards writes, while the sliding scale increase of BPL's fuel charge continues and is, quote, working well to improve the utilities' fuel bills for them. For them, but not for us.
Right.
There won't be any relief on power bills until next year, according to Minister of Works and Utilities Alfred Sayers. Sayers said fuel prices are expected to decrease next year, and a review of the sliding scale will be done between now and next year. For now, some BPL users have reported bills with fuel charges that are twice that of their usage charges. I'm one of those. Without giving any indication of if BPL customers could see some relief in their costs in the next few months, Sayers insisted that the high bills are the reason the power company is moving toward renewable energy. I feel like I'm in a time warp. What?
You don't need to be in a warp. Welcome to the jungle.
We've been talking like this for 10 years at least.
Yeah.
But...
Well,
I mean, do you have to...
Has it been 10 years?
Sacrifice people in order to really make the move? Because, it's less than that.
Was it 10 years when it turned into BPL? How long has it been BPL?
Yeah, it's longer than that.
Longer than 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, so they've even been talking about LNG longer than 10 years.
Okay, so that's on...
Oh, we've been talking about LNG long. No, because even...
That was the first Christie administration.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's been more than 20 years we've been talking about this.
And even when they were in power, twice since then, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, sure, if you count this one. Well,
No.
Well, okay, yeah.
Oh, 3 times.
Well, no.
With Christy. Twice? I don't know.
How that works. Yeah.
Well, because
yeah, sure. No, 2 for him. Mm-hmm.
Right. They were talking about LNG from like back then.
Mm-hmm.
But also, nobody swapped out the engines.
No.
Until Minnis at the Minnis administration. So we were operating.
So it's
as
just
he
talk.
says,
We just talk.
and he talks about in that story. He talks about how he calls a department at BPL the Research and Development Department. You know why?
No.
Because they have to come up with very interesting ways of keeping the engines running, the old engines running.
Oh, that's what they do. Research
because
the past.
Yeah,
to figure out how to keep old things
like
around.
how people go to Cuba and are very impressed by the cars that are still on the road. That's what they do.
So they're not looking at the future. They're just reading up on things, creative ways to keep old things working.
How do I make a gasket for this engine that they don't sell anymore? It's interesting what he said.
They should just call them the Antiquities Department. I mean, I don't know. The Research and Development. That's not quite what people think. Okay. Well.
But that was the suggestion about Abaco. When we talked to him yesterday, was that the equipment is just old, and BPL is doing their best to keep it running.
Yeah. Are they using old equipment with the new port and embassy?
No, man. That's why they got Sun Energy with their engines, running things.
That's a different company.
That's a different company. They got power purchase agreement.
Yeah, man. You got to do stuff for what matters, what's important. Sarah said that, quote, in November of last year, the sliding scale was introduced, and the report that I have received from BPL is that it is working well, and that next year it is expected that the price of fuel will go down next year. That's the projection, and that there will be a review of it between now and then. It is imperative that we reduce BPL's reliance on fossil fuel. Oh, between now and next year? That's what you said?
Fossil fuel?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's always been the imperative, right?
Well, that's right. Right, you have to pay attention to these words. You are correct, sir. This one says here, this is Sarah's again, quote, and that is why the government has committed to the Bahamian electorate in the Blueprint for Change that there will be maximum incorporation of renewable and cleaner forms of energy. Maximum incorporation.
Well, they're talking about ocean thermal conversion, which is good.
BPL?
Yeah, that's the next thing there.
Oh, okay.
But they're looking for a grant. So I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know if it's gonna. I mean, how long is that gonna take?
Last October, 7 months after he stepped in to prevent a rise in the fuel charge, Prime Minister Philip Davis announced the incremental fuel charge increases. Sears insisted Bahamians carry out whatever energy conservation methods they can in order to curb their costs. Meanwhile, BPL customers on Abaco have complained about an unstable supply of electricity, which Sears said is a symptom of old machinery that has passed its factory shelf life. According to the minister, engines are being sent to Abaco and Crooked Island to back up the power production. He said they're sending additional engines to Acklands, a 300-kilowatt engine to Salina Point, and a 500-kilowatt engine to Crooked Island, so there could be more resilience. We also have these, here we go, this is what you talked about. We also have these talented technicians at BPL. I call them the R&D division, Research and Development, because these are Bahamian technicians given very little credit, working with engines that have continued to work beyond their manufactured predicted life. But due to the ingenuity of the technicians and engineers at BPL, they continue to function. And they take old engines, they recondition them, and then put them back into operation.
So what that should really say there, in business terms, is BPL has not performed as a business and has no real plan for exchanging its equipment or money for exchanging old equipment for new equipment as the old equipment goes kaput.
Wow.
Well, like I said, we've known this since before I was born, so
Right?
BPL been broke long.
Wow. This is very scary. And we've heard there have been so many different administrations in terms of government and at the BPL who've come in and they've been,
this is
overturning the tables and acting like they are changing everything, but yet we are still in the same position.
Yeah, BPL's been every government's problem, again, since before I was born. So,
and the only people who are suffering, it seems, are the members of the public whose bills keep going and they have less electricity.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this quickly before we get to NIB. Let's hear what you have to say about it. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. We'll get your text messages in just a bit. Let's take these calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
And good morning, Chester.
Good morning.
Hey, guys. I just want to say that I'm not surprised, Dwight. Let me tell you why, right? And you might agree, right? Just like you indicated a while ago, right? We've been seeing this thing occurring in this country. You and Chester said occurring from we were boys, right? So the only one thing I get from that, right, is our leaders continuing to be status quo leaders. These people come with no absolute vision to change nothing for the next generation. All they do is get elected, right, just to keep kicking the can down the road, right? Because for 50 years, you think almost 50 years now, you think some of these issues, some of these simple issues, right, would only take the will and the lessening of corruption to cause them to come to fruition, right? And we have yet to see an administration step up to the plate when they get in the government, because when they're in opposition, man, the kids, they have every information, every solution. But the minute you give them that opportunity, they start go right back into stagnation of the system. We need visionary leaders, Dwight. We need people who will come to this country, lead this country for the next generation, man. These people keep leading generations right into the same quagmire. But you guys have a nice day.
Yep, very scary. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, morning. How you doing?
Doing well.
Okay, what Minister says fails to tell the Bahamian public is that BPL don't own any generators. They're renting all those generators. And they owned by the Sunshine Boys. That's what they fail to tell the Bahamian public. And that's why the bills ain't going down, and that's why they ain't going to no other source of energy, because the money's staying here and getting them rich people pocket. So y'all could do your inquiry and find out that they don't own no generators. Even the ones what Dr. Menace put in, they rented those generators.
My goodness. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Can you... all of them?
Don't know about that.
But we'll look into it. But in any event, we're in a bad place. Whatever it is, no matter who owns, how much is rented, we are suffering. We are suffering.
If that's the case, we've been completely lied to. But as far as we know, the government of Bahamas paid for the 7 generators that the Menace administration put in.
Wow. Let's take some more calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hello. Okay. Let's take this other one. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, present day.
Hi. Good morning.
Yeah, I believe I want to be a little bit optimistic, because I know for sure that Bahamians are resilient and they can, as it were, weather any storm. I want to give you an example. Persons, with the price of gasoline at the pump going up, some persons are disciplined enough to stick to buying maybe just $10 at every juncture, let's say, so often.
Is that discipline? or handicapped?
Well, it's being frugal, and I want to have a little bit of confidence and wish for the best, and even though we may expect the worst, we wish and pray for the best because I think it's still manageable. I mean, a lot of things need to come out or seem to be coming out from other callers who may have other information, but I choose to be an optimist because so far so good. I think it's manageable. I'm still able to pay my bills, so because of that. Maybe that's why.
No, see, that's not the way you should be looking at it. You're able to pay the bill, but should it be this high? And should you accept it being this high and for so long, right? It doesn't need to be this way. We've known that these problems were going to come, and we had ample warning to do something about it. We've been talking about renewable energy for decades, and they've not implemented this. They have a goal to meet by 2030?
30, yeah.
They're barely there. And it doesn't look like we're going to get there at all.
You
cannot be optimistic about this at all. They've failed us.
To be honest with you, some of that seems contradictory because the renewable and the fossil fuel use of it, and it doesn't seem as against like you're making a step forward and the same step backwards, so you're standing in the same place. But still trying to at least hold up their hand and encourage them to do well. If you give up on them, like sometimes it happens in other areas, then they will do absolutely nothing.
Okay. I hear you. I don't know if we're talking about your kids or something. We're talking about people we're paying tons of money to every year to provide a service for us. We can't treat them like members of the family who've gone astray or something, no. Why am I paying you? Because I could bypass you. I could save somebody and go off the grid entirely and tell all of you to jump off Clifton Pier, right? But
if you can afford to go.
Right. I won't be able to eat for a while. But no. We can't treat them like, oh, poor things. Y'all can do it. Come on. No. No. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
Good morning, Chester.
Good morning.
Hey, I had two voice optimistic. Wow. Hey, I had two questions. Simple. I call them simple questions, right, Justin, Dwight?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you could answer it. I wanted to know why ain't we going the way like solar and using the sun? Is it true what the caller said just now? Why they ain't going for no other avenue of energy is because of the company called?
They are.
He didn't say that's
they are
why.
Going, they are going.
Say it again, right?
Yeah, he didn't say that's why they're not. He just was.
He said the reason. If you go back to the tape, he said the reason why they ain't getting no other energy is because.
But they are going to solar, and they have contracts going out now for the
that's what we need
family
to do.
islands.
That's
and they have solar on several school roofs in New Providence.
Yeah, I heard that. And one of them islands, Ragged Island or something?
Yeah, Ragged Island is completely solar.
Yeah, they need to do that in Nassau, man. So we wouldn't be thinking them conspiracy theory that someone making the money from this, from us getting this bad treatment.
Somebody will always be making the money.
Right, tell me something, huh?
Someone will always be making the money.
Yeah, but not negatively that we get bad service though, Chester. Hey, tell me something. What was the reason why the Minister of Finance, Simon Wilson, and BPL, the Minister of Works, them say they didn't go on with the agreement, with the hedge agreement with the former government had there for us, and causing our liability high. What was the reason they say they go on that way and they didn't do what the former government had there, knowing that government is continuous? And I'm going to listen. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I mean, it's not a simple answer, but
they said they continued the hedge. Mm-hmm. It was just at one point something wasn't done. I can't even remember what it was, but they said they continued the hedge, and the hedge is supposedly still in place.
Mm-hmm. But not exactly the way it was before, it seems.
Well,
but there were lots of excuses.
Yeah, it's not doing what it was doing before.
Right, because it wasn't saving them as much as they thought it would. But
so
it was
the reason
good for
we
the
have
public.
this sliding scale is because they were still paying more for fuel,
Mm-hmm.
and didn't pass the cost on to us.
Yeah. Right. Let's take this call, and we've got to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Dwight and Chester.
Hi.
can we press the reset button? This Orwellian dystopic future that we keep on predicting day after day, it all ties together, doesn't it? The BPL situation, the NIB situation, and it seems that we don't realize that we are supporting this aristocracy, and we have a way out. We just keep on mincing and pinching and just getting by. And they're telling you right now, they're actually telling you 10 to 20 years or whatever Masaru said in the foreseeable future, that you will be taxed more and more and more as a Social Security, but they don't have any promises of delivering. So that means our children are going to be in formidable size of debt, amount of debt, long after we're gone, and we're not doing anything about it besides voting for the same people who are placing this burden upon us. And I know you're going to ask this question, Dwight. What is the solution? There is a solution. It's called will. It's called decisive mindset, action. We have means in the government where we could go and apply for Crown land, move off of Nassau, apply for grants for solar, start building, start farming, but we want to support the day-to-day rat race, hustle, grind, following each other, trying to get the new computer, trying to get the new phone, trying to get the new clothes. And we're paying the price for it now. And it's no way out for us, but the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer. Have a good day, Dwight.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much.
We also, there's a lot that's wrong. The money in the country stays in very tight circles. The big money, not like the hotel money, which is, that's a lot of money. And the workers get a wage, but the owners get yachts. And there's no Bahamian that owns, when you look at the amount of money that comes into the tourism sector, that owns a sizable piece of that. Then you have the small groups of people who, through their contributions, in essence, control some things that governments do. And they have a lot of money. And so the money stays in their circles.
Yeah.
And we get jobs from them, but that's it.
Yeah.
And they have yachts.
And I think the caller was trying to be optimistic. This is exactly what the government is hoping to hear more of, that type of talk. You're still able to pay your bills. And people are saying, well, maybe we just need to be more optimistic and encourage them, and then they'll learn better. But I can still pay my bills, so everything's okay.
No. See, my since I got married and had a daughter, my perspective has had to change, right? And I have to work very hard to ensure that the one piece of land that we were able to get, that we could actually build on it affordably, and that she could keep it later on in life, right? Because if she wants to stay in New Providence, she won't have anywhere to really buy or build. And the only other choice, as a lot of Bahamians are going to find out, is that if they go off to college, they're not coming back for the most part.
Yeah. Some messages as we go to a break. This person says here, where are the numbers to validate increases in BPL and NIB? Are we really going to sit and accept such unsubstantiated claims? Well, the NIB, we've got a lot of evidence to support what they're saying, but we'll get to that in a moment. The texter goes on to say, where is evidence of cost cutting or efforts to get outstanding bills paid by the top delinquent customers? Are there alternative plans for revenue? Where is the F&M? The who? What? Why would you? What are they? What is that? What does that stand for? What kind of people are we? We may be 20 years ahead of Haiti.
Boy,
where do you get that from?
I don't even know if that's true.
What? No. But we are racing to catch them up with incompetent governance and lazy. We don't have to throw them under the bus. You don't have to throw them under the bus. So we did this. Anyway, let's talk about our own problems here. This person says here, is the minister a part-time comedian? Because he sounds like he's trying to be funny. Which one you mean? Which one? You mean the works minister? The question is, would government find tax revenue from the people who turn their homes to solar systems. I'm afraid of the next tax attack. Okay. I mean, you could be afraid.
You know,
what
solar is within reach for some people, even if partially solarizing some of your house, right? But battery storage is where the price just kills you.
Yeah.
And so you got to use the energy from the state in the night. So we need
a lot to go
some
off grid entirely.
Some way to subsidize those things. I mean, the only thing, the top thing I think about when I think about finally building a home is solar. To be honest, I'm like, if I can, I will cut off the front porch if I have to, so I can afford the solar panels. Right.
Wow. This person says here, kicking a can down the road. This is like kicking a rock down the road. I mean, I think I get what they're trying to say. I think. Okay.
A boulder.
Maybe.
That ain't moving.
What gets to me is some of these callers who constantly complain about government corruption and seem to have the answers for the country's issues. Why don't they offer themselves for office? Where is this text coming from?
You think it's that easy?
What is this about? Why is this text coming to us today? Offer themselves for... Anyway. They have a right to complain. They're paying taxes. They're paying for services they're not getting. They have the right to complain. And they often do offer solutions. So don't come with that nonsense. There's too many people trying to get in office who aren't doing it. Anyway. It seems you do more when you're on the outside than in. The light bills are high because of fuel hedging fiascos by this dark day administration. Why are you running from that? Who's running from that? What do you all hear? What's going on? We got to check our what we put out over the year. What? Okay. Oh, my God. And another one here. Fuel tax is the biggest source of government revenue. Solar, please, not until government can fix how to tax it. I think people are very confused. What is that? Anyway.
When they said it,
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means.
The importation of it?
Yeah, I don't know. What are you talking about? If you want to do it and you can't afford to do it, do it. And people are doing it. Many of us can't. That's the problem. We can't. Even before taxes. This person says BPL's not broke, it's consistently mismanaged. Yeah. The whole country. This is Morning Blend. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Who you think you're fooling? I see you coming long time. I see you coming long time. You say you're on the breast him. Well, yeah, you take your stick.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
I'm Mike Hempen with an AP News Minute. The district attorney and an ethics panel say there's no evidence that the judge in Donald Trump's hush money case is biased.
Manhattan prosecutors say neither former President Donald Trump nor his lawyers have shown any evidence to support their claims that the judge in his hush money criminal case has an anti-Trump bias. The prosecutors urged Judge Juan Manuel Merchan to reject defense demands that he step aside from the case. Trump has referred to Merchan as a Trump-hating judge. The decision on recusal is up to Merchan himself. He previously rejected a similar request when Trump's company, the Trump Organization, was on trial. I'm Norman Hall.
Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell will begin 2 days of hearings before Congress today that will likely focus on the questions that consumed the central bank last week. How far and how fast will the Fed raise its key interest rate? I'm Mike Hemp.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
That's the sound of your car or truck. That's the sound of your horn. Get in gear with an auto loan. RBC makes it easy to get your own.
Get in gear with an RBC auto loan with up to 100% financing, extended repayment, and low interest rates. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/gear up. Conditions apply.
That's the sound of your car or truck. That's the sound of your horn. Get in gear with an auto loan. RBC makes it easy to get your own.
Get your first look at traffic in, brought to you by RBC. Get in gear with an RBC auto loan. In your real-time traffic, not much to talk about. We've got Milo Butler Highway You'll see some traffic in front of you just north of Harold Pond on the way to the roundabout with Tawny Williams-Darling Highway. Traffic is back to belong Tawny Williams-Darling Highway, though, westbound to that roundabout. Blue Hill Road also busy just north of Soldier Road, northbound on the way to Independence Drive. Glass Road looking good for you, but along JFK between Tawny Williams-Darling Highway and Harold Road and Prospect Ridge to the roundabout with Bahamar Boulevard, Glass Road, it's looking a bit congested there, westbound especially. And some building traffic on Carmichael westbound to Coral Harbor Road. We've got West Bay Street near Saunders Beach, eastbound traffic, slow going there, near that roundabout with New Providence Highway. And some building traffic on Marathon Road northbound. That's what we're looking at so far. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/gear up for an RBC auto loan. We'll be back with more morning blend after these messages here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Bahamas Games? What was the purpose of the games?
The purpose is twofold. One, to bring Bahamians from throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas together through sports. And the second, to find talented athletes throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to be trained and possibly make it to the Olympic level.
When the games is?
This July 7th to the 15th.
For more info, call 322-1029.
Total Auto Care on Howard Road offers fast, quality auto maintenance at the very best prices. Tune-ups, oil changes, brakes, suspension, wheel alignments, radiators, water pump replacements, and more. Need quality brand name tires for your vehicle? Tires that'll stand up to these roads? No worries. We supply Michelin, BF Goodrich, Bridgestone, Pirelli, and Toyo. We'll import them fast and install them for you at no extra cost. So when your car needs maintenance or quality tires, we're on Howard Road, just before Burger King. Come see us. Total Auto Care. Call us at 341-6599 or 341-2350.
Tired of paying too many bills and loan payments each month?
Shrink your monthly debt payments down to one easy payment with our debt consolidation loan.
It also has a built-in savings that pays you 5% interest.
Inquire about our debt consolidation loans today.
Call 356-7764.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Get ready to mash this party up. It's Rick and Script full non-stop. Hey! Rick and Script. D-Max style. Oh, yeah. I see you coming from a mile away, girl. I see ya coming. Girl, I see ya. Hey! She says she's a real good girl. She only goes to church then home. I say I'm a real good guy like Rick and Script. I stay in my zone. She says she don't party hard. I tell her I'm a partier. She tell me she ain't no cutter, but she'll go out with me. She say that she drinks Calyx, but only 3, and then she's done. I tell her.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. Okay, let's get into NIB before we have to go to the news. So, our Candia Dame's writing about this. In order to save the National Insurance Board and fund from doom, the board rate will increase by 1.5 percentage points from 9.8% to 11.3% on July 1st, 2024, right? And increase every 2 years after that by the same amount for the foreseeable future. That's according to Miles LaRota, Minister of State in the Office of the Prime Minister, who is responsible for NIB. He revealed this last night. Now, LaRota spoke comprehensively on the state of NIB and its future during the debate on the 2023-2024 budget in the House of Assembly. While in his contribution, he used the 1.5 percentage points increase as an example, but he confirmed to the NASA Guardian late last night that it is, in fact, the increase agreed to by Cabinet. LaRota said the government has not yet decided, however, how long into the future increases will take place. Now, he said the recommendation was for 10 increases of 1.5 percentage points. 10. Good Lord.
Yep.
Well, he said, quote, that part we haven't decided on what we're going to do, but it will be multiple increases. It'll be more than one. We need at least 3 of them to get us to the point of breaking even. Now, of course, the Prime Minister recently announced that a raise increase will take place next year in July, but did not at the time say how much of an increase was coming. LaRota said in the House Assembly last night that the rate increase will be shared equally between the employer and the employee. As a result of the 1.5 percentage points increase, he explained the employer's portion rises from 5.9% to 6.65%, and the employee's portion rises from 3.9% to 4.65%. So if you're making minimum wage, he said that if you're making a minimum wage of $260, the increase in the employer's portion will go from $15.34 to $17.29. He says the employee's contribution on the minimum weekly wage will increase from $10.14 to $12.09. He says for both the employer and the employee, this represents a difference of $1.95 per week. For those salaries on the minimum wage, $1,127.67. Employers and employees will pay a difference of $8.45 per month. Now, he says this is less than the cost of a meal at any one of our local restaurants. Okay. And it's a small price to pay to secure our pensions for the future. He said that employers' weekly payment on a ceiling of $740 per week will increase from $43.66 to $49.21. And employees' contributions on the ceiling of $740 will increase from $28.86 to $34.41. For both the employer and the employee, this represents a difference of $5.55 per week. And for monthly salaries on the ceiling of $3,207, employers and employees will pay a difference of $24.05. All right. There you have it. Any talk of ceiling increases? I don't see that yet, but we'll keep you posted. We're going to break for news. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
I'm a real good guy like record script. I stay in my zone. She said she don't party hard. I tell her I'm a partier. She tell me she ain't no cutter, but she'll go out with me. She say that she drinks Calyx, but only 3, and then she's done. I tell her I wish they had Calyx or drips, so party can done. She tell me she's a friend to know. I tell her I'm the one to trust. I tell her when we go to the dance, it's only just 2 of us. So we reach to the dance and she say, this my song, then she hotel to the floor.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It's Wednesday, June 21st, 2023, and you're listening to the Guardian News Network Morning Report. Hello, everyone. I'm Charlene Ferguson. Thanks for tuning in. Topping the news. Minister of State responsible for the National Insurance Board, Miles LaRota, confirmed to the Nassau Guardian last night that Cabinet has agreed to an increase in the NIB contribution rate of 1.5% to commence July 1st of 2024. He indicated the rate will increase by the same amount every 2 years, though the government has yet to decide for how many years those increases will continue. A recommendation of 10 increases was made. During his contribution to the 2023-2024 budget last evening, LaRota used the 1.5% increase as an example, explaining what it would mean for workers and employers.
The rate increase would be shared equally between the employer and the employee. For example, if the rate is 1.5%, in the first year, paying the minimum weekly wage of $260 will increase the employer's portion from $15.34 to $17.29. Employees' contributions on the minimum weekly wage will increase from $10.14 to $12.09 for both employer and the employee. This represents a difference of $1.95 per week. This is less than the cost of a meal at any one of our local restaurants. This is a small price to pay to secure our pensions for the future.
Laying out the argument for that increase, LaRota noted that the budgeted deficit for NIB this year is $97.6 million, driven by deficits exceeding contributions by some $86 million, a trend which he said cannot be sustained in the long term. The latest actuarial review concluded the fund will be depleted by 2028 if nothing changes. The contribution rate has only been increased once in 2010 and now stands at 9.8%, which LaRota says is one of the lowest rates in the region. He foreshadowed multiple increases of 1.5% moving forward.
At this time, it is considered to increase the contribution rate every 2 years for a period of time. A staggered implementation aims to allow businesses and workers adequate time to adjust their budgets accordingly while still ensuring the system's sustainability in the future. We have 1 year to prepare for the rate increase, and legislation will be tabled in Parliament later this year to bring this into effect. Simultaneously, we intend to table changes to the NIB Act and regulations to strengthen our enforcement and improve compliance.
He said that will give NIB more power to go after delinquent businesses. The agency, he noted, has already begun to recoup outstanding payments from government agencies, collecting $52 million from them so far this year, with $8 million remaining to be paid. In other news, Attorney General Ryan Pinter says the government hopes to, in short order, finalize rules that will govern how illegitimate children of Bahamian men and foreign women in this country can secure Bahamian passports when their father is not listed on their birth certificates.
The issue comes down to proof of paternity. So we've drafted the new passport rules that deal with Article 6 of the Constitution. We've vetted those rules now with the Passport Office, the Minister of Immigration, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who has portfolio responsibility of the Passport Office. They provided their comments, and we revised those and circulated a revised draft to that group yesterday. Effectively, if you are born in the Bahamas and were to unwed parents, so you were illegitimate at the time of birth, and your father was Bahamian, and that's reflected on your birth certificate, then the citizenship is naturally automatic because you presume the paternity through the birth certificate. The issue comes down when you don't have a father in that situation listed on the birth certificate, and then how do you prove paternity and that the father was Bahamian?
Though the Privy Council has ruled that the children born in the Bahamas out of wedlock to Bahamian men and foreign women are Bahamian citizens at birth, Minister of Labour and Immigration Keith Bell has stated that he believes the approximately 1,400 applications from people in that category should still be processed through the Department of Immigration, albeit expeditiously. Pinder told reporters the new process will require DNA testing for some.
And so we're looking at a protocol involving DNA evidence in those circumstances. We're working with the Ministry of Health to properly define that protocol. As you can imagine, it has to be by way of certified laboratories and properly recognized DNA results and only down so many generations in these types of questions. Once that protocol is in place, then naturally we'll be able to proceed on the DNA element of it when the father is not on the birth certificate. We look to finalize that in short order. I suspect that the rules will be, final rules will be given to the minister within the week, if not early next week, for execution and for signature. And then the Passport Office will be able to proceed under that.
The Passport Office has posted a notice at its New Providence office saying it was awaiting guidance from the Attorney General on how to proceed with passport applications of people who fall into this category. However, Pinder suggested that Passport Office officials should be handling applications where the father is known and documented.
Yeah, I mean, they should be looking at the applications where the father's on the birth certificate now, because that's a presumption. I spoke to the Chief Passport Officer on that. And so I think what they're doing is they're going through those applications to kind of separate them to know which ones they can deal with immediately and then which ones they have to deal with on a DNA protocol.
Meantime, Pinder also confirmed that public consultation on proposed cannabis legislation should begin soon. He told reporters small amounts of cannabis will be treated like a traffic ticket if government's draft cannabis legislation becomes law. He said the framework also includes provisions for the religious use of cannabis.
We got all the feedback on the cannabis legislation. Presentations has been given to Cabinet on it. A presentation outlining a medical regime and then a regime for religious use. Cabinet has authorized public consultation to commence. We look to launch that shortly after independence. We want to be thorough. We want to go to all constituents that matter and that are interested and that have opinions on this. We want to ensure that we have widespread consultation through the Family Islands. We want to talk to the medical community, let them weigh in. We want to talk to the religious community, let them weigh in. We certainly want to talk to the agriculture and agribusiness community and let them weigh in. So this is going to be pretty widespread, very organized, very well. Have a social media and a digital component to it, as well as in-person consultations.
He said the public consultation will probably take 2 months as the government wants to be thorough.
We have the website created with all of the legislation. And this isn't just one bill. These are bills, regulations, rules, orders, the whole scope of what will take to put this regime in place. And that's why it's taking some time, because we just didn't want to throw a bill out there. We do that quite often, especially with big things. We do a bill and then we don't do the regulations and it kind of lingers a little bit. So we want to make sure it was fully comprehensive in what we're trying to do.
Pender said the government will also seek feedback on legalizing cannabis for recreational use. Well, 21 people, mostly migrants, are under arrest after police interrupted a human and drug smuggling operation off New Providence last night. We're told intelligence led officers with the police marine unit to stop a white 30-foot cuddy cabin vessel off Saunders Beach. Aboard were 18 foreign nationals, 12 females. 11 of those were from Ecuador. 1 was a Chinese national. There were also 6 males, 4 from Ecuador, 2 Chinese, and 3 Bahamian men. Upon closer inspection, police say they also found 39 kilos of suspected cocaine, estimated to be worth about $750,000. The Immigration Department has taken custody of the immigrants. That bust is said to be the result of a collaborative effort which included the DEU, DEA, OPAT, and the K-9 unit. Stay with us. There's more news after the break.
When faced with an illness like cancer, we band together, and we at Cleveland Clinic in Florida have your back. From advanced cancer treatments to extra safety measures at all of our locations, we're with you on this journey. For every infusion and follow-up, for every step of the way, for every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic in Florida. Get the care you need when and where you need it. To learn more or connect with a local representative, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
When is it Lumpkin? In this year independent, my summer tile sale will feature a couple of tiles with throwback prices. Now, not all now, but some of these tiles could be at prices you ain't seen for a long time. Lumpkin, this could be a good sale. I tell you that. If you're building or you're renovating, you ain't gonna want to miss this one. Even my new SPC floor will be on sale, along with marble, porcelain, and ceramic floor covers. That's it, Lumpkin. This the sale. My 50th independent anniversary sale, June 12th through July 8th.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Introducing BTC Fiber, available now in 80% of New Providence and Grand Bahama, so you too can become unstoppable. With fiber that's faster, stronger, and more reliable, you can stream, browse, game, study, work, or have everyone in the family do all that under the same roof at the same time with no interruptions and at incredible speeds up to 1 gigabyte. Visit any BTC retail store or btcbahamas.com to get the newest fiber technology at the lowest price in the market. Switch to BTC Fiber. Together, we are unstoppable.
So I was in Sun Isles other day, and Ms. Wallace say, when you've been in this business for as long as I've been in this business, for you to stay in this business, you got to understand the difference between. I say the difference between what? She say, there's a difference between Sam Sline and Anne Klein. There's a difference between Michael Moores and Michael Kors, Pucci and Gucci, Scooby Valon and Louis Vuitton. You get my drift? I say, yeah. Sound like for every real McCoy is a real imposter too. She say, that's right. And that's the difference between me and you. Now while you heading to the door, you figure out who is who.
Sun Isles Watch and Clock, number 112 Montrose Avenue. Watch and clock repairs for over 40 years.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Are you tired of waiting in line to access your insurance information? At Kalina, we know your time is valuable, and we want to help you make the most of it. That's why we offer a convenient online portal where you can access all your insurance information in one place. From life and health to home, auto, and marine insurance, everything you need is just a click away. Say goodbye to long wait times. Contact us today to learn more. Get online, not in line, with Kalina.
When I had got prostate cancer, my family didn't know if I was going to live. At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, within days, I got an appointment. They presented me with treatment options, and we set up a robotic prostatectomy. When my scans came back, there are no signs of cancer. They don't see you as a number, they see you as a part of the family. I'm going on with my life. That's a real gift.
Call us at Cancer Treatment Centers of America.
Everything is changing, and your favorite hardware and home improvement store is getting with the program. We Buy You Sell is rolling out its new online shopping feature. If you go to our website, wbusbahamas.com, it's a quick and easy 3-step process. Step 1, browse the gallery and select your item. Step 2, add to cart. And Step 3, check out. Go to our website, wbusbahamas.com, to shop with us today.
Welcome back. Although not an imminent threat to the Bahamas, Tropical Storm Brad has strengthened and is heading for the Lesser Antilles. Brad is expected to strengthen into a hurricane within days, but Minister of State in the Office of the Prime Minister, Miles Larota, said for now it's too early to say if any parts of the Bahamas will be impacted by that storm.
They don't expect any strengthening until about Thursday. The projected path have it moving over Puerto Rico on, I think, Haiti and the Dominican Republic, Jamaica area. And so it's no threat to us right now. If it was to move in our direction, we're looking at sometime next week. I advise the public to follow those advisories and stay prepared.
Brat will be the first hurricane in the Atlantic hurricane season and one of the earliest forming in recent times. A second tropical wave is trailing right behind, which forecasters have predicted could form into a tropical depression given the right conditions. Larota said all of the emergency response agencies under his remit are prepared for any eventuality.
At the beginning of the month of June, late May was hurricane preparedness month. We did some communications there. Those agencies that deal with preparedness, mitigation, resiliency, they're all prepared and ready to go.
Well, that's going to do it for local news. Stay with us. AP News is next.
Did you know that Valvoline's Max Life not only protects against friction, but also leaks, deposits, and sludge? The 4 major causes of high mileage engine breakdown. Long live your car. Max Life is the first lubricant specially formulated to protect the engine of your high-mileage vehicle. Visit us today and see our full line of Valvoline lubricants, chemicals, and antifreeze coolants, distributed by Battery and Tire Specialists, located 7th Terrace, Centerville.
At Master Technicians, we have what your family traditions need, starting with industry-best refrigerators, ranges, and ovens. We also carry Whirlpool washer and dryers, dishwashers and freezers, leading KitchenAid countertop appliances, blenders, microwaves, juicers, kettles, and KitchenAid stand mixers. We even do free delivery in New Providence or to the boat of your choice. Whether you're doing the laundry, creating new memories in the kitchen, or spending family time in front of the television, Master Technicians Limited, keeping family traditions alive for more than 50 years.
Are you looking for a fresh experience? Look no further than Fresh Market. Our store is stocked with the freshest produce, meats, and dairy, all sourced locally and internationally for the best quality. With our commitment to freshness and our friendly associates, your shopping experience is sure to be a breeze. Come visit Fresh Market today and taste the difference freshness can make.
You buy it, we can fix it. General Appliance Company, number 233 Market Street, is the place you've been looking for to repair your AC units, commercial and residential, and vehicle AC repairs too. General Appliance Company sells, repairs, and order parts for refrigerators, stoves, freezers. They can order boards for new and used TVs. They repair small home appliances like irons, blenders, fans, and much more. General Appliance Company, easiest way to get the parts you need, best place to get it fixed. Call General Appliance Company, number 233 Market Street, 323-6086, 323-6086.
Bahamas Games? What was the purpose of the games?
The purpose is twofold. One, to bring Bahamians from throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas together through sports. And the second, to find talented athletes throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to be trained and possibly make it to the Olympic level.
When the games is?
This July 7th to the 15th.
For more info, call 322-1029.
At Apex Award Signs and Engraving, the name says it all. The country's trusted name for trophies, plaques, corporate seals, rubber stamps, badges, bumper stickers, traffic and street signs, keychains, t-shirts, interior signs, restaurant menus, and so much more. Apex Award Signs and Engraving, number 128 Mount Royal Avenue in Wilton Street. Open 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and 9 to 1 on Saturdays. Visit the website at apexawardsbahamas.com. Apex Award Signs and Engraving, number 1 in the Bahamas.
We're not always able to see the storms in life approaching, but we can take the necessary steps to be prepared to ensure the safety of ourselves, our loved ones, and our property. This hurricane season, trust J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers. We'll be here to help you get back on track in your time of need. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com. J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
You can lose a lot of money gambling if you're not careful. That's right. Be sure and pay your bills first. Set aside your savings and know exactly how much you can spend and what you could lose. If you win, you win. But if you lose, you lose. Set a budget and stick to it. Please, be safe and only gamble what you can actually afford to lose. This message is brought to you by the Gaming Board for the Bahamas.
Visage in Margaritaville, downtown Nassau presents Fish Fry Friday, the Soak and Old School edition, Friday, July 14th, from 6:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. at the 12 Old Bar, Margaritaville, downtown Nassau. It's all of your favorite old school classics and the new school soca, performed live by Visage alongside DJ AI, taking you back. $25 cover charge with one free Ron Mercado drink with entry. And for $55, you can experience the Fish Fry Friday buffet at Vacation Cafe before the event and enjoy complimentary access. It's the Fish Fry Friday Soak and Old School Edition. Friday, July 14th, 6:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. at 12 Old Bar, Margaritaville, downtown Nassau. This is one you don't want to miss. Don't meet me there, speak me there.
Good morning. This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. And now at 8:22, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. And we've got a lot going on weather-wise. We've got a new weather warning, a thunderstorm warning in effect now from 7:45 to 9:45. That's for Andros, Exuma, and the Exuma Keys, Eleuthera, Cat Island, Long Island, and Ragged Island. The Department of Meteorology says that there's radar suggesting there's clusters and lines of thunderstorms with embedded thunderstorms, moderate to heavy showers moving across these islands, and some of these thunderstorms will be severe at times, causing strong gusty winds, dangerous lightning, torrential rain, flooding, hail, and possible waterspout or tornado activity. Again, that's in effect until 9:45 this morning, a thunderstorm warning for Andros, Exuma, and the Exuma Keys, Eleuthera, Cat Island, Long Island, Ragged Island, and their adjacent waters. So it's all as a result of streaming tropical moisture, which is triggering this unsettled weather across the country. Also got a ridge of high pressure supporting gentle to fresh breezes. So beachgoers being advised to be alert for rip currents along easterly beaches. Mariners advised to remain alert for possible waterspout activity as well. And residents reminded to remain hydrated and avoid prolonged sun exposure due to triple-digit heat indices. There's also a risk of flooding in low-lying and flood-prone areas during heavy showers. So a lot going on. For the Northwest Bahamas today, look for variably cloudy, humid, and hot conditions with widely scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms, remaining cloudy and warm with widely scattered showers and thunderstorms tonight. Gusty winds and higher seas in or near showers and thunderstorms. For the central and southeast Bahamas, variably cloudy, hot, and breezy with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms through tonight, especially in the central Bahamas, becoming fair and warm with isolated showers or thunderstorms in the southeastern islands. Temperatures getting up to around 91 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius, but the heat index again will be in the triple digits today. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 75 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. In your extended outlook, the winds across the country will slowly increase as we approach the weekend due to the shifting high-pressure system, while tropical moisture will maintain unsettled weather across the islands, becoming heavy and severe at times, especially for the Northwest Bahamas. So for Thursday, tomorrow, cloudy with scattered showers and widely scattered thunderstorms in the Northwest Bahamas, partly sunny and breezy with isolated showers and thunderstorms in the central and southeastern islands. Friday, variably cloudy, hot and breezy in the northwest and windy in the central and southeast Bahamas. Widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Smallcraft advisory in effect for the central and southeastern Bahamas. In the tropics, we've got Tropical Storm Brett, and we've got a tropical wave several hundred miles west-southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands that has about an 80% chance of tropical depression, becoming a tropical depression during the next couple of days as it moves towards the west at 15 miles per hour. With Brett, Tropical Storm Brett, a little stronger now as of 5 o'clock. The center was about 645 miles east of the Windward Islands. Brett is moving toward the west at 16 miles per hour. The general motion is expected to continue for the next several days. On the forecast track, the center of Brett expected to move across the Lesser Antilles by Thursday afternoon and Thursday night, and across the eastern Caribbean Sea on Friday. Maximum sustained winds are near 60 miles per hour. Some additional increase in strength is possible before Brett reaches the Caribbean Sea. I'll keep you posted on that, but that's what's happening. A lot happening weather-wise. That is your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First. Visit firstonlineinsurance.com and select a Bahamas First agent to purchase, pay, or renew your car or home insurance 100% online, or just stop by any Bahamas First agent. Bahamas First, celebrating 40 years as the first Bahamian general insurance company. What's first for you comes first for us. Time for another check of traffic brought to you by RBC. Get in gear with an RBC auto loan. In your real-time traffic, Mile Butler Highway, still not looking so bad, but as you get closer to Harold Pond, you'll see more traffic in front of you if you're heading northbound toward Tawny Williams Darling Highway. Glasson Road also looking pretty good for you this morning. Elsewhere, we've got Blue Hill Road. Just a bit of congestion as you get over that hill heading northbound toward the roundabout with Independence Drive. And pockets along, well, at the East Street and Soldier Road intersection. And Marathon Road looking busy for you northbound. Soldier Road, especially north of Prince Charles Drive as you approach Bernard, Wolf, and Village Road, the intersection there. Those are your hot spots. That's your real-time traffic in your Morning Blend Traffic Alert brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/gear up for an RBC auto loan.
That's the sound of your car or truck. That's the sound of your horn. Get in gear with an auto loan. RBC makes it easy to get your own.
Get in gear with an RBC auto loan with up to 100% financing, extended repayment, and low interest rates. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/gear up. Conditions apply.
That's the sound of your car or truck. That's the sound of your horn. Get in gear with an auto loan. RBC makes it easy to get your own.
My blood, water, oh, baby. Pay me for my son and my daughter, baby. Pay me for my blood, water, oh, baby. Pay me for my son and my daughter, baby. I come to collect, I come to collect, I come to collect everything that you owe me. Come to collect, come to collect, come to collect everything that you owe me. Come to collect, come to collect, come to collect everything that you owe me. Pay me, oh, pay me what you owe me. Pay me up, pay me what you owe me. Pay me for my brothers and my sisters. Pay me for my brothers and my sisters. Pay me for the tall hanging tree. Pay me for the spirit in the sea.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. All right, so we're changing gears. We're going to have a lot more to say about NIB, I'm sure, over the next few weeks. But I'm changing gears now to talk about the recent second session of the United Nations Permanent Forum on People of African Descent. It was just a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And our guest, Dr. Nambi Hall Campbell-Dean, who is the chair of the Bahamas National Reparations Committee, was right there and spoke to the forum. And welcome. Great to have you back with us. Always a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, Dwight. Good morning.
So you spoke at the UN.
Yes.
And we're going to play a clip of you. This is very powerful stuff. We'll talk about that experience in a bit. But,
okay.
But this is you addressing, again, the second session of the United Nations Permanent Forum on People of African Descent. What was the date? This is
June, 1st through, or actually the end of March to like June 3rd.
End of May.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay.
May, sorry.
All right. So just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
This is Dr. Nambi Hall Campbell-Dean addressing this special forum. Listen.
Let us give the floor to Nyambi Hall Campbell-Dean, Bahama National Reparation Committee.
Okay. Giving honor to those great Africans whose shoulders we stand on, the Bahamas National Reparations Committee stands in solidarity with all Pan-Africanists and works towards the liberation of African people through the framework of reparatory justice. In this work, we invoke the words of our great Bahamian ancestor, Tony McKay, "Pay me for my blood in the water. Pay me for my son and my daughter. Pay me for my brothers and my sisters. Pay me for all of my dead. Pay me for the blood that you shed. Pay me what you owe me." We make this demand to all former enslavers and colonialist governments, but we also recognize that charity begins at home, We note that we cannot value Pan-Africanism in a global context when we do not demonstrate value for persons doing the work of Pan-Africanism. The lack of funding for this permanent forum and its members demonstrates that this body needs to do more to value Pan-Africanism. We must pay them. To quote another, until the philosophy which holds one race of superior and another inferior is finally and permanently abandoned and discredited, everywhere is war. The goal of the Agenda 2063 holds a high standard of living quality of life and well-being for all citizens, yet we live in capitalist systems in which people of African descent do not own the means of production, and races and classes of people are held superior. We work with sustainable development goals that do not specifically outline the plights of African and African descent women and girls. We call for a second decade to do the work of dismantling these systems. Finally, we note that no Pan-African conversation can be had without Haiti. Haiti is our North Star. Haiti needs us now. If there are no reparations for Haiti, there are no reparations. Reparations now.
Okay, that was powerful. And you got a lot of applause there, as we heard, Dr. Nambi Hall Campbell-Dean. Just want to know, what was that like speaking to a UN body?
It was nerve-wracking. I was really nervous about it because when we left on the trip, I had no intention of making a statement at all. Because everybody kept saying, are you going to talk at you? And I was like, no, why would I do that? But Gaynell Curry, Ms. Gaynell Curry, who is actually a member of the permanent forum, Bahamian, who sits on the board. It's one of the two Caribbean representatives.
My goodness.
Really encouraged me to make a statement and address the forum. And so with her prodding, I put something together and made a statement on behalf of the Bahamas National Reparations Committee.
Wow, amazing. All right, so tell us about this, the UN Permanent Forum on People of African Descent. What exactly is it about? What's it designed to do? I mean, is it just talk, or is there really going to be action coming from this? And this is the second session?
This is the second session. So we kind of have to go back to 2000 with the Durban Declaration, where there was the UN had the forum about racism. And the Durban Declaration set up some very specific points about addressing racism globally. And so out of that declaration came the work of the Permanent Forum. And really before the Permanent Forum, the decade. So we're actually in the decade for people of African descent right now. We're nearing the end of that decade, and the fact that most of us don't know that we're in
what does that
decade,
even mean? What does that mean?
So that's basically saying that the United Nations is supposed to be placing emphasis on issues regarding people of African descent. And so
has it been happening?
Well, that's what the work of the Permanent so the Permanent Forum was created to help do that work, right? To help push that agenda.
And you said in your speech, y'all need to do more.
That they need to do more, right? Because, so for example, Gaynell Curry sits on that forum, but it's not a paid position, right? So all of the work that is being done is voluntary. And you know, if you really support something, you put your money behind it to make sure that it can work. So that was one of the things that we were talking about, just about really funding the work of the people that are on the forum, funding the work of the agenda.
Because that could be a full-time job. I mean, there's a lot of work to do.
No, it absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So what has happened? Is there anything you can point to, like, well, this is different, at least we're looking at this? Is there anything like that?
Well, out of the forum, a number of developments were made, really with countries. Well, first, so countries from around the world were there, right, and represented and speaking. Even countries that you wouldn't think, like China and Russia, talking about the issue of the Permanent Forum. But some of the things that came out were some countries made very strong statements or commitments to engaging in reparations conversations, like not even conversations but movements. So Colombia, for example, Brazil, for example. So we see in South America that there's really, and there are a lot of people there from South American countries, but that the movement, the reparations movement, is really growing, and that they're getting government support, right, in these countries to say, okay, this is an issue that we're really going to be putting on our agendas.
Right. And is everybody on the same page in terms of the form reparations should take?
So there are different ideas of what it will actually look like, right? But one of the things that is interesting is that the CARICOM 10-point reparations plan was talked about a lot as a model for what reparations could look like, right? And I think that that's important to note, because a lot of times we in the Caribbean, especially in the Bahamas, don't feel like we have an effect in a global stage or a global arena. But really, you know, we do, because a lot of these countries were looking to CARICOM, looking to the Caribbean representatives to say, hey, y'all did something, and we want to try and figure out what that is or how we can do it as well.
Right. Refresh people's memories. And I think you talked about it on this show before, but what the CARICOM plan entailed, it wasn't handing out checks to people.
Right. So the CARICOM 10-point plan for reparations is a developmental model of reparations, right? Saying that we are going to advocate for these crimes against humanity that have been committed, but unlike, let's say, a Jewish reparations model where families from the Holocaust actually receive checks, there would be a developmental model that speaks to 10 specific points, which include things like education reform, public health reform, national debt cancellation, psychological rehabilitation, African indigenous knowledge programs, repatriation. You know, let's go back to Africa. That these would be the points, right, that the reparations model would follow. And those points are actually, we're in the process of remodeling them, right? This committee was formed 10 years ago now. So some things that are not on the 10-point plan, like return of artifacts, you know, what we saw in the first Wakanda movie, that issue being brought up. So you know, we need to go back, readjust. And I will say, too, that there are people on the reparations committee who do think that we should be getting checks. You know, so it's not a monolith, but that is a model that we've come up with. And most recently, a group, and the name of them blanks, I'm blanking on it right now, but a group, an economics firm, along with Sir Judge Patrick Robinson out of Jamaica, have put together a report detailing the actual numbers, for the Caribbean. And so I can just say, like, generally, and they underestimated, right, on purpose, that the numbers were about $100 trillion.
Wow.
For the Caribbean region. And this was looking, so they're saying if we're looking at the numbers of about 19 million people that have been affected from the time of enslavement to now, that's what we're looking at.
All right, so this is the UN, but what are the countries that were known for enslaving individuals? What are they saying? What are they doing?
How were they represented?
Well, I should say that, so with the permanent form, reparations is just one of the issues, right, that was mentioned. So I was talking about just issues that affect people of African descent globally. The reparations issue was probably the most popular one in terms of, you know, people really going for it. But they didn't, I mean, I can't really remember any representatives from European states, like France was not there.
Well, it's shocking.
England, no. The United States was there. They have a member on the permanent forum as well. They didn't talk about reparations, right? They talked about racism and, you know, healing those wounds and trying to correct those issues. But yeah.
So, I mean, should people be wary then? Like, we can't expect much from this, especially since you're saying this is the decade for people of Africa, the African diaspora, but nothing much has happened. And who's talking about reparations? It's very limited. Will anything really change?
It's changing. It's happening. So one of the things that we're seeing, for example, is non-state actors coming up and making reparations movements. So when I say non-state actors, the CARICOM Reparations Commission was formed to agitate these colonial and formal enslaver governments, right? But we have examples like the Trevelyan family in Grenada, who once they recognized and found out, became consciously aware that their family had ties to slavery in Grenada. This is a family out of Britain. Laura Trevelyan was a BBC anchor, for many years. Their family made $100,000 donation to the University of West Indies in Grenada as a form of reparations. And so, the argument then is, well, if it's what you decide to give me, is that really reparations? And that's another argument probably to be had at another time. But from that, they formed a group called the Heirs of Slavery. So she actually quit her job at the BBC, formed this foundation called the Heirs of Slavery, where families who are similar to hers are saying, okay, what can we do? How are we gonna?
Is that part of that group that trying to get the royal family to admit that or talk about their connection?
So they advocated for that as well. So it's happening. Right. It may not actually look the way that we think that it would, but I think that there's a groundswell in terms of this reparations movement.
I know you say it was bigger than reparations, but with the forum, was there anything else that was surprising to you? This is interesting. I like how this is going, or this is disturbing. Anything that stood out to you?
I think one of the things that was interesting to me was, there were a number of things. So first, Russia and China, that they made sure to make statements at every session, right? That they had people and these sessions were like 3 hours long, right? Not, like you come in and you come out. But they made sure to show up and represent and make statements and, politics, to say, well, look, Russia cares for you, black people. There's America. Statements can be made or why they didn't do that. But that was interesting to me. I think the amount of people from South America, Brazil, Colombia, that were there and that they're really doing a lot of work in those areas was interesting and surprising. Maybe not surprising, but new to me. I think a lot of the issues around that Miss Curry, Gaynell Curry, advocated for in terms of really pulling out or I should say disaggregating the data around African women and African girls. So, the UN is really pushing these sustainable development goals and looking at how women are treated globally and gender rights. But it kind of glosses, all women in one category. But, there are very distinct issues that women of African descent are experiencing and facing, and are we willing to address those head on? So those were some of the things that stood out, particularly for me.
Were there any final decisions that came out of the forum, or does something else happen now after that to compile a lot of what they talked about? Reports. So all of these civil society groups, right, came and they made their recommendations, and so then the forum is tasked with putting those together, right, and coming up with general recommendations. One of the recommendations that, for example, came out of it was a more focus on reparatory justice.
also the call for a second decade of people of African descent, right? To say, let's really do the work now this time. So there were a number of recommendations that were made, and you can actually find those on the UN's page if you just Google permanent forum for people of African descent resolutions, and you can find that there.
All right, we've got quite a few interesting text messages coming in. We'll get to those after the break, and I'm going to get some calls in as well when we get back. We are talking with Dr. Nambi Hall Campbell-Dean. She is with the Bahamas National Reparations Committee, and she was speaking at the UN Permanent Forum on People of African Descent. We'll get back to your messages in just a bit. This is Morning Blend, brought to you in part by the Bahamas Games. The Bahamas Games are coming. Are you ready? You ready for the Bahamas Golden Jubilee Games? July 7th through 15th, 16 events, 16 venues, 10 teams. Call 322-1029 for more information, or follow the Bahamas Games on their social media handles at Bahama Games.
Come to collect everything that you owe me. Come to collect. Well, why you so sweaty?
Darla, getting ready for the Bahamas Games.
Bahamas Games? What that is?
The Games started in 1989 under the then Minister of Sports, Peter J. Bethel, and now Minister Mario Boleg.
When the Games is?
This July 7th to the 15th.
For more info,
go to www.thebahamasgames.org
or call 322-1029.
When faced with an illness like cancer, we band together, and we at Cleveland Clinic in Florida have your back. From advanced cancer treatments to extra safety measures at all of our locations, we're with you on this journey. For every infusion and follow-up, for every step of the way, for every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic in Florida. Get the care you need when and where you need it. To learn more or connect with a local representative, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
It's been 35 years since Custom Computers was founded, and we'd like to celebrate that milestone by thanking you, our clients and customers. You've inspired 35 years of expert service and support, partnering with the world's leading brands like HP, Apple, and Microsoft. We take pride in setting the bar for what you expect and deserve from a homegrown Bahamian business. We're here to serve you when you need us, so call 396-1101. Custom Computers, raising the standard since 1987.
You could win your share of $1,000 and free annual memberships when you apply for your Mobile Assist Visa Travel Rewards Card. It's a prepaid Visa that gives you access to travel and online shopping deals worldwide every single day. Enter automatically when you successfully apply through our Mobile Assist app. Use your prepaid Visa 5 times or more, and you are automatically entered to win your share of $1,000. See our social media pages for more details. Apply, save, and win with Mobile Assist.
The Water and Sewage Corporation wishes to advise the public, its customers, and the residents of Wilton Street off Mackey Street, inclusive of side corners, that there may be an interruption to their water supplies between the hours of 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on June 12th. 2023 for a total of 6 weeks to perform new main installation on Wilson Street. During this period, there may also be road closures and detour around the work areas. Motorists are asked to avoid this area between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. The corporation apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and appreciates your support as they work to improve their level of service.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
My business couldn't survive without my credit card machine from Fidelity. It's fast, convenient, and my clients love it. My sales increased, and I can track my earnings. Get your credit card machine from Fidelity today. Call 356-7764.
Total Auto Care on Howard Road offers fast, quality auto maintenance at the very best prices. Tune-ups, oil changes, brakes, suspension, wheel alignments, radiators, water pump replacements, and more. Need quality brand name tires for your vehicle? Tires that'll stand up to these roads? No worries. We supply Michelin, BF Goodrich, Bridgestone, Pirelli, and Toyo. We'll import them fast and install them for you at no extra cost. So when your car needs maintenance or quality tires, we're on Howard Road, just before Burger King. Come see us. Total Auto Care. Call us at 341-6599 or 341-2350.
Indulge in an experience that awakens your senses with Nescafe Gold. Premium Arabica coffee beans, carefully selected, roasted to perfection, and finely ground, resulting in a unique and unmatched flavor and aroma that captivates the senses. Enticing aroma, smooth taste. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold.
My blood, water, oh, pay me for my son and my daughter, pay me for my blood, water, oh, pay me for my son and my daughter, pay me. I come to collect, come to collect, come to collect everything that you owe me. Come to collect, come to collect, come to collect everything that you owe me. Come to collect, come to collect, come to collect everything that you owe me. Pay me, oh, pay me what you owe me.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong on the Chester Robards. We are talking with Dr. Nyambi Hall Campbell-Dean. She's representing the Bahamas National Reparations Committee today, but also telling us about her address to the UN, the Permanent Forum on People of African Descent, just a few weeks ago. All right, so every time you come, we get a lot of the backlash about reparations and how this is not necessary. We need to move on. We need to get over it. We need to just...
From local numbers?
Mostly, yes.
But not today, right?
No, we're still getting that today. Not as much. But, well, this one is interesting. This person says here, well, Dwight, if we get reparations, there will be a lot to go around. All these Bahamians who don't claim Africa won't be eligible. Bahamians were never enslaved. I think that piece is supposed to be sarcastic. I don't know. Maybe. Why don't we get actual financial benefits like the Jewish people I'm editing? Mm-hmm. We can reform our own systems. We know what we need to develop our people. I want to check. What do you say to that? Okay. To that person?
Yeah, I mean, we do know what we need
sure?
to reform our people, whether or not we do it.
Mm-hmm.
But so the CARICOM model, right? It is a check. But it would be for specific things. And so it's not a model that places that hand directly in the hands of, or places that check in the hands of individuals. Mm-hmm. But there are some people in the movement that think that, that is not the model that we should work with, mm-hmm. that we should allow people to have, the sovereignty to deal with the money the way that they want to themselves. So I mean, I think that there is some argument for that when you look at other reparation models. But in a capitalistic society, right, how does that, or would that really benefit us as a community?
So I have my views. I'll keep them to myself today. Now, this one here. Oh, boy. Caller, we'll get to you in a second. This person says, I don't like this woman and her organization using our country's name. I don't know. How do we know what she is saying is the feeling of our entire country since she's using our name? I don't know. Well, you're not the only person involved in this committee at all.
Well, so, I mean, I think that that's a good point to note that the Bahamas National Reparations Commission is a commission that has been organized by the government of the Bahamas, right? We're not a civil society group that has said we want to just advocate for these issues. The CARICOM Reparations Commission was formed in 2013, and from that, member states of CARICOM, which the Bahamas is, form their own national reparations committees. And so that's why I'm able to use the name of the Bahamas in international forums.
Okay.
Does
that person enjoy when all of the other people who use the Bahamas' name go off and do that?
I don't know. But hey, and then they say 100 trillion. Is this a joke? Where will that money come from? Off the backs of all the slaves. That's where it's coming, right? I mean, what do you mean?
I mean, it is a joke.
I don't know. Do you know how much money was extracted from these people and these countries?
Yeah. I mean, 100 trillion does sound like you can't really conceive 100 trillion, right? Like you can't even really conceive a million in terms of the amount of a million of anything.
You sure?
I mean,
oh, trust me.
But I mean, I think that the how of it is something that we shouldn't allow to prevent us from saying that it's needed, right? Or that it's right, or that this is what justice looks like. Because again, reparations have been paid before. Reparations is not a new thing. Countries have come up with money to say, we did you wrong. Here's how we're going to make that right. And so with taxes, with the revenues that they have, you set aside money and you make it happen.
And like you said, we're also not talking about 100 trillion in cash.
Right.
You know, so
it's
not bills flooded into.
There's many ways that
debt forgiveness,
repatriation,
return of stolen items. Right, it could be a lot of things. Half those crown jewels that certain people were wearing a few weeks ago. Right,
you could hit a couple trillion easy if you talk about debt forgiveness.
Exactly.
yeah, very much so. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Chester, and good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Listen, I read something, I think it was in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, where the owners of slaves were paid. I think the last checks were given out in 2016 because slavery was abolished, right? Or am I wrong?
In some cases.
In the United Kingdom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but we had Bahamians here whose name was on that list. Bahamian families whose name was on that list. Permanent Bahamian families whose name was on that list. Who received, I guess, their form of reparation because slavery was abolished and their slave was taken away. So why shouldn't we ask for the same thing that they got?
Yeah, I mean, I know that we know we have a history of enslavement in the Bahamas, right? We know that is just a part of our story. Which names were on that list because that was something that happened in the United Kingdom, I cannot, confirm or deny. But yeah, that's the argument, right? If enslavers were given reparations for the loss of their property, when slavery was abolished, then why can't the people that actually did the work, that were kidnapped, that lost their culture and their heritage, receive reparations as well?
Okay, I was just curious because I know I read it, and some of the names that I read, I was amazed at those names because I didn't realize that those persons was still receiving funds up until I think 2016 because their slaves was taken away, and it was the United Kingdom, England, that was paying them.
Yeah,
I read it online, and when I saw the names, the Bahamian names that I know, I was shocked.
Yeah, and just for clarification purposes, it's not that the enslaved families were still receiving the funds up until 2015, but that it took the United Kingdom government till 2015 to completely pay off that debt.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because I want to know if my family is in that, I want my check too.
Boy. All right. We talked about this off air, but France, you mentioned Haiti in your speech.
Yes.
And France, anything coming out of this? France saying anything? Anybody putting any pressure on France?
I mean, France is getting a lot of pressure from the continent of Africa as well, right? For what they've done in colonization there. But really, Haiti was one of the impetus to form the CARICOM Reparations Committee, right? Because there were some movements in Haiti to say, okay, France, like, you know, we paid you all to remain free, actually. So we need some of that money back. And they were basically laughed out of
the money back.
All of that money back. They were laughed out of the town. And so the CARICOM Reparations Committee was really formed to say, hey, you know, Haiti has a case. And actually, we all have a case. So let's try and do something where we can support that.
Yeah.
But yet, no real movements from France have happened.
You call Haiti our North Star.
In terms of, so the panel or the session that we were on was the Pan-Africanist session, right? And so my point was saying that is that you cannot have a conversation about Pan-Africanism, especially in a forum like the United Nations, without directly addressing Haiti. We all know what Haiti is experiencing right now, and if it weren't for Haiti, no Pan-African conversation could really even begin,
right?
You know, because of the revolution that started there, because of it being the first Black Republic. And so my point was that, you know, if we're going to be genuine and sincere about Pan-Africanism, that we have to address the issues that are happening in Haiti.
Does the whole Caribbean support this, or is it just academia that's saying that Haiti does need to be reimbursed for what it's had to endure?
No, so the CARICOM Reparations Commission, you mean? Yeah, so everyone in the Reparations Commission is definitely on board in terms of addressing Haiti. When the commission first formed, there was actually representation from Haiti on the CRC, you know, and since then, not as much. A lot, you know, has happened. But yeah, it's definitely all on board in terms of reparations.
Let's take this call really quickly. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight Chester, and good morning,
Ms.
Hall Campbell.
Good morning.
You know, Ms. Hall, I mean, I want to applaud you for all your efforts, but Ms. Hall, you know, in reality check, you ain't gonna never get nothing from no reparations. Right now, Ms. Hall, we have over 2 million acres of prime land. Why don't our government do something for us? Why do we have to wait on England or anybody else to do something for us? Why can't we get our 40 acres and half a mule? Huh? Why can't each Bahamian get 1 acre of crown land or 2 or whatever it is? So, why don't our government empower our people by giving them land? Why? They don't have to wait on England. They don't have to wait on anybody. They have the power right now. And the poor people can't get the land. The people coming in our country, taking our land, taking everything we are. And we Bahamians, we can't get a Christ thing. And we would be sitting down waiting on reparations. This all, you can turn blue before you get any kind of reparation. Let's press our government to make crown land available to Bahamians. This is our inheritance. Our preamble said we are the inheritors of this land. Why can't we get our inheritance right now? We've already been given this land by the King and Queen of England. We don't have to wait on them. The government has to wait on them to do something for its own people's land. You know, fight, push for that. Thank you for your time.
All right. And again, it's Dr. Nambi Hall Campbell Dean.
Thank you for that.
And Dr. Nambi Hall Campbell Dean. And I think both can happen.
We
right?
can walk
Can we
into
do
it.
both? Can we do
that
both?
was the exact same
Right?
thing that I was going to say.
Yeah.
We can absolutely walk and chew gum at the same time. So it's not a matter of sitting down and waiting. I understand the caller's frustration and that reparations can, start at home.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we call the land the crown land, right? Or the perception is that the king and queen gave it to us.
Yeah.
Well, who did they get it from?
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, we absolutely do have internal issues that we could be dealing with and grappling with for reparations. But in terms of this international stage, the permanent forum, we were looking at it on a more regional, global level.
Mm-hmm. And you're not turning blue. Some things are happening.
Things are happening. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about more things happening if all of us were to speak with one voice. I've mentioned it on the show before and get weird people look at me cross-eyed and stuff, side-eyed. But I've said it before. I mean, this would be very powerful if to show countries like France that we are all serious about, especially Haiti and all what happened to all of us. Something like next year, the Paris Olympics. If people of African descent, of the African diaspora, were to boycott the Paris Olympics, what would the Olympics be like without the African diaspora taking part in it?
I mean, I think that's a powerful idea, right? And it's about unity. If people of African descent unified with any number of issues and said, this is what we're doing, the world would have to stop, because everything comes from us. The natural resources, the culture, everything. So the sports, I think that would be a powerful movement.
I know it would be, people have said it, but that's not fair to these athletes who've worked hard and trained just to make a statement.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are going back into these communities that are severely challenged because there's been little development, and that was never the priority for their countries after the colonizers left. And so what are they returning home to?
Right.
Countries that are struggling to find their way, crippled by debt and just not going anywhere.
And so they don't have anything to return to, so they're immigrating to, the former enslaver and colonized countries.
More and more of these countries are losing their brightest minds.
Yeah.
To those same countries that you just mentioned. And we sit back and just like, okay. Does that make sense? Let's take this call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Pleasant good morning, Dwight, and your guest.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Dwight, what I don't understand about this reparation and everything, we seem to be the best talkers in the world. We always considering something, thinking about something, talking about something. This land was supposed to be ours, what we supposed to inherit, like the Constitution say and the last caller said. Even if we don't inherit it, by the time we come out of high school or university, we got to go look for land to buy. For us to buy land, other than getting government and low-cost homes, we got to go to foreign bank. The foreign bank makes, they give 0.01% interest on the money which you put in the bank. But when they lend out your money to get loans, they lend it out at 18, 19%. Then they take the money and they send it to
You don't have to go to those banks. They're Bahamian banks, too.
Well, how much are Bahamian banks for you?
Enough.
I hear you.
Enough to get you what you want.
Yeah, okay. But what I'm saying is, we got one that I know, Commonwealth Bank, and Bank of the Bahamas. But what I'm saying is to get a loan. Majority of the banks where we Bahamas deal with, the money goes out of the country, they give us some jobs. And then the government comes behind with the mortgage corporation, they give us what they call low-cost housing. Majority of the people around here, their children end up paying for those houses because they ain't as low-cost as people think. Why they just can't make a deal with the people to say, okay, instead of this acre land you want, if you got a low-cost house, the loan is paid off. That's the end of you. That's your home. You ain't got no acre, but you got a home. That's you. So no more reparation for you. And allow our children somehow to be able to get onto the other land What they don't give to nobody, they lease it to you. If it's farmland, they lease it to you. In the document, tell you can't build no permanent structure on it, because they might come back and take it 25 years. They might not give it to your children to carry on. So nothing, you end up with nothing at the end of the day. And children and grandchildren end up in color corner and what they call a family inherited home that nobody could sell, nobody could do nothing because it belongs to the whole family. And it keeps going on and on and on and on, and we get nowhere. And we just watch the foreigners come take everything, and they get somewhere. They get the big houses, they get the big yachts, they get everything, and the Bahamian people will own the Bahamas have nothing other than fight and row. Have a good day.
Okay. Well, all right. So, what's next, Dr. Nyambi Hall Campbell-Dean? What happens after all the forum, the UN? What's going to be happening over the next year or so? Where do we go from here?
So one of the things that we in the Bahamas National Reparations Committee every year since 2020, we've had our annual Priest Blyden lecture. And so since it started in the pandemic, we've only had virtual versions of this lecture. But we really are in movement to try and bring this lecture to a large audience and take it out of the realm of lecture per se, right? But to make it more dynamic so that it's not something that people think, oh, that's just something they're doing at the University of the Bahamas, another talk, right? That we want to add music to it. We want to have, a Tony McKay performance like Tony McKay performance of Pay Me What You Owe Me. We want to be able to bring the conversation around reparations out of academia, out of the halls of the United Nations, really to the people, and even have conversations about internal reparations, right? We know that Crown land is a big issue. So we want to be able to have those conversations and really just bring the movement to a more local, palatable place.
So a festival.
Yeah.
Hey,
let's do it.
Why not?
But different ideas, even if we're talking about like working with primary schools, and going into the schools, which is something that we did in the earlier years as well. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, keep us posted. Keep up the great work you're doing.
Yes.
Very proud of you. Speaking to the UN, look at that. Dr. Nyambi Hall Campbell-Dean and the Bahamas National Reparations Committee. Is it commission or committee? I've been saying committee. Okay. Yeah. And again, you're welcome anytime.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
for having us.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, Morning Blend Business, Bristol, our monthly segment. They're here. Looking forward to that. That's right after this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Oh, pay me what you owe me. Pay me for my blood, water. Oh, pay me. Pay me for my son and my daughter. Pay me.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is the Guardian News Network update on the hour. Hello, everyone. I'm Charlene Ferguson. Minister of State with responsibility for the National Insurance Board, Miles LaRota, confirmed to the Nassau Guardian last night that Cabinet has agreed to an increase in the NIB contribution rate of 1.5 percentage points to commence July 1st of 2024. He indicated the rate will increase by that same amount every 2 years, though the government has yet to decide for how many years those increases will continue. A recommendation of 10 increases was made. LaRota told Parliament that action is needed to save the fund from depletion by 2028.
For both employer and the employee, this represents a difference of $1.95 per week. This is less than the cost of a meal at any one of our local restaurants. This is a small price to pay to secure our pensions for the future.
In other news, Minister of Works Alfred Sears yesterday applauded Bahamas Power and Light for taking steps to meet the power demands of that new Nassau cruise port and that massive new U.S. embassy under construction. He told Parliament BPL has expanded its substation on East Street and completed its electrical expansion into downtown. He said BPL plans other major works across this island, including its contribution to the Gladstone Road project. And 21 people are under arrest after Marine Police intercepted a vessel off Saunders Beach last night with illegal migrants and 39 kilos of suspected cocaine on board. We're told those persons included 15 migrants from Ecuador, 3 Chinese nationals, and 3 Bahamian men. The migrants are now in immigration custody. The drugs are said to be worth about $750,000. That's the quick headlines at this hour. Stay with us. AP Update is next.
I'm Mike Hempen with an AP News Minute. A Warren, Michigan police officer has been charged with assault after video showed him punching a young man in the face and slamming his head to the ground at the jail. Warren Police Commissioner William Dwyer says the video is disturbing.
The footage you are about to see is sad and it's upsetting to every member of this department. This is not what we do. This is not who we are.
The audio courtesy of WXYZ TV. Officer Matthew Rodriguez has been charged with willful neglect of duty and assault, both misdemeanors. A judge set bond at $5,000. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his government has approved plans to build 1,000 new homes in the West Bank settlement where 4 people were killed by a pair of Palestinian gunmen. The new homes are to be built in Eli, the site of Tuesday's deadly attack. I'm Mike Hempen.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Wednesday, June 21st, 2023. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, it is time for our monthly segment that we look forward to so much with Bristol Wines and Spirits. And as always, Kyle Stubbs and Tori Saunders with us this morning, and we're talking about summer wines. The summer is here. The heat has been on.
Indeed.
My goodness gracious.
The heat is here. We were just reminded on our walk upstairs that today is the official start of the summer. Mm-hmm. So this conversation is timely. If nobody realized, within the last 2 weeks, it's been extremely hot.
Oh, my goodness.
And then we've been followed with some terrible weather.
Yeah.
Yesterday and the day before is the same, and now you wake up this morning, it's extremely hot.
Yeah, and more terrible weather coming.
And more terrible weather coming. So it's just a reminder that we're going to make some slight changes in what it is that we consume wine-wise, so we're appropriate for this temperature, because this is some heat.
Let's talk about that. Why should you not have that full-bodied red?
Well, it's all about the structure of wine, right? And so full body, just describing that, it's like full body. Do I really want to drink that in 95 degrees?
Sounds hot.
It sounds hot on its own, right?
Yeah.
But with those heavy body wines come higher alcohol content, right? And so we're talking about enjoying alcohol consumption. Right. So it's best to be appropriate. Drinking something hot in a hot climate means you're going to drink less of it. You're going to get your fix faster, and it's not going to be as enjoyable. Right. But if you change it just being cognizant of it's 85, 95 degrees on the outside, we drink more water in the summer, right? We drink more Gatorade. So it makes sense that we drink a little bit more lighter wines that, contribute in a positive way to our drinking experience as opposed to taking away from it. I mean, we always have these conversations here, and I mean, it's going to happen again this summer. But it's the cognacs and the beach scene, 95 degrees. It usually doesn't look good, doesn't feel good, and, we misbehave in those settings. It's the same thing with heavy red wines. It just doesn't feel good drinking a big 14.5% cab outside on the beach and it's 98 degrees. But on the flip side, a Sauvignon Blanc on the side of a Kong salad, your feet in the sand, it ain't gonna get much better than that.
But I run into a lot of people who tell me, I only like red, I don't drink the other stuff. And like
that used to be me,
right?
Before
it
this
used to be.
series.
That's interesting. So what's that about, and what haven't they experienced so they can see that there's a whole lot more?
We kind of box ourselves in, right? And once we're in our comfort zone, that's it. With growth and experiences come when we act outside of our comfort zone. We're talking about thousands of different wines.
Right.
So somebody tell me I only drink this, it's because you've only been exposed to and have accepted that. Yeah. Just as a prime example, he would tell you he was boxed in, but
we saved
now
him.
We want to try and keep him in the box.
We
want to keep him in the box because he's here, there, and everywhere. But no, it's exposure. We operate at our level of exposure. Right. And so some folks find something and that's their fix and they want to stay there. But the wine world offers us so much to dive into that it's a challenge for me when I have conversations with those folks, and it's a challenge to say, go and try something different.
Yeah. Well, I think you did that for me last year. I really was thinking something else when I heard rosé. I was thinking probably Zinfandel and whites. But last summer when we did that rosé series, and you opened us up to all these wonderful rosés. Yeah, that was a life-changing experience.
Indeed.
So thank you, guys. All right. So what are we going to be looking at right now?
This morning. So what we have in front of us, and I thought it was interesting to do this, is I always tell people I'm a $30 to $40 wine drinker on my own. But we have this fantastic program happening inside all our retail stores, especially here in Nassau, where we have a bin-end table. So you walk into the first table you walk into at our Blake Road store, our Gladstone Road store, our East Bay store, would have wines where we consider bin-end. We are, not bringing them back for whatever reason. They've been discontinued from the winemaker. We only have a couple of bottles and we don't want to sit on it inside the warehouse. And so I came across this fantastic, again, light white for summer, Pinot Gris / Pinot Grigio. I think I spent $12 on this, and it usually retails at about $30, $33 or somewhere around there. A to Z from Oregon. We started our Oregon conversation the last time we were here with the Pinot Noirs and that kind of stuff. But I said, let me just get your impression of this wine from our bin-end table, right? So not breaking the bank. It's the summer. We want to travel. We got to prepare for back to school, even though school is just closing.
We run into AC and BPL
ain't taking a break on nobody. So instead of spending $30 on this bottle, stop at the bin-end table and spend $12 kind of thing to make sure you could take FBPL to keep the AC on, because this summer.
Wow.
It's going to be a summer. So this is A to Z Pinot Gris, just to see what's happening on our bin-end table, to get your live response here on the radio, and then for customers to be intrigued enough to pop into one of our stores and grab
I'm already loving the label design. It's just simple, but it's simple, nice.
Absolutely.
And the yellow is nice.
Tell us again, I think you said it before in a previous show, Pinot Gris, Pinot Grigio, same thing?
Yeah, same thing, same grape variety, different styles, but they just speak to Grigio, Gris, the color of the grape. So it is a white grape that has a little bit of a red, like a dull red gray kind of hue to it. And so that's the reference of Grigio versus Gris. But Gris stylistically is a little bit of a heavier white. Sometimes it may see a little bit of oak. Sometimes it has some extremely ripe fruit character.
Okay.
Whereas Pinot Grigio is light, crisp, acidic. So same grape variety, but two different styles. Just to persons who can't see noticed that Chester was the first to taste this, and he kind of took the bottle off the table, as in it's not for anybody else.
He had a weird look on his face, but then he snatched the bottle, so I guess he likes it.
That is.
You like it?
A great Pinot Grigio.
Pinot Gris.
Pinot Gris.
And what is interesting is Pinot Grigio or Pinot Gris is one of those early drinking grape varieties. So for us, we try not to keep, more than 3 vintages back.
Right.
This is 2017. It's still performing.
Yeah.
There's still fruit character.
Buttery.
There's still liveliness of acid on this.
It's playful in the mouth.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, 6 years later, half the price, more than half the price, off.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you all are discontinuing this? What's the reason? It's pretty good.
I'm not certain exactly, but like I said, there's a lot of factors that come into place. The performance of a wine, right? We could bring in 2 pallets and think personally that this wine is exceptional. But if we sat on those 2 pallets for 2 years, then we have to make a business decision.
But we didn't talk about it on the radio yet.
That is a fact as well.
A to Z
so might be
from Oregon.
might not
we
be
might
on that list
convince
anymore.
people to go and look for this today, and then they're going to beg you to bring it back.
Why? How much of this would you have left?
Like a few cases.
A few cases?
Yeah. Right. But again, those decisions we make, like you said, it hasn't been on the radio. It's one of those brands that might not have some serious marketing behind it.
Right.
But it might also be that some folks traffic through the store right now, taste this, and we do have to have a conversation. Okay, we might need to bring back in 7 cases.
So A to Z is the actual winery?
The name of the winery, yeah.
Okay. I think I'm going to like Oregon a lot. I'm enjoying Oregon.
Performing right now.
Again, we spoke about as you move up the western coast and you get into Washington and Oregon.
Yeah.
That's where you get exceptionally well wines, made wines, at good value.
Yeah.
Right? So this same Pinot Grigio or Pinot Gris from Alsace or from Italy is going to run us $35, $40, right? But here we are in Oregon, retail-wise, we can get this between $25 and $30. Same taste profile, same quality, same attention to detail kind of thing. It's like Washington State, our Cold Creek cab drinks like a $80, $90 bottle of wine, and right now we have it for $30.
Yeah.
That's what Washington and Oregon represents in the wine world.
It's a beautiful area, and they make beautiful wine. I think I'm going to like it.
You all are having some very good specials going on. I stumbled upon them over the weekend.
You stumbled.
Choice
oh
words.
man! All right. So that was good. That was very good. I agree with Chester. That's a good one.
Super. So, the summer for us represents Sauvignon Blanc, right? I mean, we do go crazy over conch year round, but this is when we sinfully indulge in everything conch in the summer. And Sauvignon Blanc just presents itself in terms of structure, acid, the fruit character that shows up, a lot of citrus, right? But it's an enjoyable white wine. On its own, it's one of those things where you could drink 3 or 4 glasses, 95 degrees, and you're still okay. But you bring anything conch on the side of a Sauvignon Blanc, and you've just elevated your food and wine experience.
Right.
Whether it's your cracked conch, whether it's your conch salad, whether it's your conch fritters, conch bites, sorry. Whether it's your grilled conch. We always add citrus to our conch dishes. It shows up inside this wine. The acid in the wine allows us to cut through any textural concerns. And then we're talking about all of the other flavors in the wine combining with all of the other flavors in the conch dish is what we really enjoy on the palate afterwards. Rombauer, I hope I don't get in trouble for this. This is my go-to Sauvignon Blanc in our entire portfolio. Even outside of our New Zealand Sauvignon Blancs that really lead the Sauvignon Blanc conversation, I think Rombauer is just unexpectedly superb.
Where is this from?
This is from Napa Valley.
Oh, okay.
All right.
And of course, people associate Napa Valley with Chardonnays and Cabs. But these guys just do a fantastic job with the Sauvignon Blanc.
So for the folks who are like, ain't nothing beat a beer, a certain brand name, with conch, you're saying...
I'm saying they should
open up your mind.
Come and join us.
Yet.
Yeah, join us on July 6th. We're doing a Bahamian food and wine tasting experience only for 30 folks. That's leading into the Independence weekend. And bring your bottle of beer of choice to that tasting.
What?
No,
You're going to have a taste off?
We're going to have a taste
off.
off.
That makes sense.
It only makes sense. I can say it as much as I can, social media-wise, on the radio, on the television.
Yeah.
Liquid to lips. Let's have this experience, and let's take it from there.
Well, I'll tell you what's not pleasant when the body is degassed after conking beer.
I appreciate that.
Oh my God.
Perfect choice of words.
Wow. Okay. So tell us more about this brand. Rombauer, you're saying? Mm-hmm.
They're known for their Chardonnay.
Mm-hmm.
So through my wine studies and through wine tastings that we do now, their Chardonnay shows up on every blind tasting. These are one of the houses that kind of assisted with putting Napa on the wine map.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it was 79. We always talk about the judgment of Paris, when Chardonnays from California outperform Chardonnays from Burgundy, Cabs from California outperform Cabernet blends from Bordeaux.
One that started when?
79.
1979. That far back.
Judgment of Paris.
Okay.
And out of those came houses like Stag's Leap, Clos de Val, Chateau Montelena, and that opened the door for these houses.
Wow.
And so the second wave of houses that came to make international noise would have been places like Rombauer.
Okay.
And their Chardonnay today is still like the classic style of California Napa Chardonnay, 100% malolactic fermentation. So we took the green apple sensation and we made it into like a buttery sensation, like the buttery stuff that you picked up on. In this Chardonnay, that's their iconic wine, it's all butter. That's the style that they went after, kind of thing. But we traveled down there in 2019 and came across the Sauvignon Blanc. I will always remember our VP of Sales and Marketing, Sandy Roll, was just like, she looked at the supplier like, how the devil did you not tell us about this Sauvignon Blanc? And it's just been fantastic. It's a little bit more premium price. I think this retails at $38. The majority of our Sauvignon Blancs, especially from New Zealand, come in that $15 to $25 point range. But I think this shows up and performs extremely well.
It smells amazing. Have you smelled it yet?
I did.
Yeah.
It's tropical and citrus.
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
Going on.
It's like perfume.
Okay. Oh, it's very light.
Wow, that is very nice.
And just so people could understand based on your responses, so we're tasting this wine at tasting temperature. If we were to drop this a little bit more and we had this at drinking temperature, I don't think Tori and I would be going back to the office this morning. We would complete this bottle. It'd probably be a stop to open up a shack on our Waki to get some fresh conch salad or something. I'm loving the look on Chester's face.
I didn't know a Sauvignon Blanc could taste like that.
Now you've been exposed.
I'm loving it. No, I'm loving it.
No, it's very nice.
Rombauer.
Yeah, Rombauer.
Hello.
You know, like this on the side of conch salad.
This is probably dangerous.
Yeah.
I think you drink the whole bottle.
Extremely
put up to your face.
Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah. The fruit character is good and enjoyable and noticeable. The acid is there, but it isn't offensive. The feel on the palate is just enjoyable from front to back.
Yeah.
The only thing this is missing is a conch salad. I kid you not. Sorry. Old-fashioned scotch. Take it easy on all the other herbs.
And you need it to be very peppery so that you could drink this slower.
Well,
because you could really
run through this.
Go right.
I don't find so though.
No,
I find you want
to enjoy this.
To enjoy. Okay. You want to keep that sip in your mouth for a very long time.
I'm with Chester.
Horse it back.
No, I think
really
$35 on a Sauvignon Blanc. I'm with Chester. We're gonna try and save this.
It's very
savage.
Nice. Wow. Okay.
Thank you, Rombauer. I appreciate that. You really did perform.
That's excellent.
2021, so still young, still vibrant, still good. Still got another 3-4 years in it with all of this life that we're tasting right now.
I don't know anybody who's ever said to me like I'm a Sauvignon Blanc person, but But if you out there,
and you're a Sauvignon Blanc drinker,
go for this Rombauer.
I think I know more people who like this over any other white.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
My mommy likes Chardonnay, so I don't.
The white wines are so interesting because you have some Sauvignon Blanc, prophets, for lack of better terminology. You got some Chardonnay prophets, and then you get some people who live and die by the Pinot Grigio. But in our market, I want to say Sauvignon Blanc and Pinot Gris will probably lead that conversation. But depending on who it is you're speaking to, you can get a good crowd of Chardonnay lovers as well.
Yeah.
But when we talk about in our market, Sauvignon Blanc, people go crazy over the New Zealand stuff.
Yeah.
The Oyster Bay, the Matua. I hope I don't get no problems. The Kim Crawfords, the Villa Marias, the Crossings. People really go crazy over those. But yeah, this is wow. Thank you.
All right.
Wow.
2 for 2 this morning. These are both wonderful.
You're whapping out the park today.
Very good today. Wow, nice. Very nice.
This isn't the table.
No, this is not. This is not. This is not on the dinner table. No, we're not delisting this.
Okay, yeah.
This is here. This is here to stay.
Okay.
We try to keep it at an affordable price point. Yeah, no, this one.
No, that's pretty good. 35.
You get a lot of people into reds drinking that for the summer. I'm pretty sure of that. Yeah.
So we have tasted this before. This is a newer vintage. I think this is the 21 of the Dow Rosé. You know I'm a Dow guy. You're a Dow guy too.
Dow guy.
Best and
no doubt about that.
But this is a fantastic rosé. It's from Paso Robles. It's from Paso Robles, and it follows the French style of rosé, right? So we just do a light press, and we allow the juice to free run over the skin, and so whatever color is picked up is what shows up inside this bottle.
Okay.
So we expect, just based on that treatment, for this to be light, to have some acid component to it, and then to be a nice balance between some fruit characters we get in white wine and some fruit characters that we get in red wine, right? So we talk about the berries and the floral aromas in red wines. We expect to pick up a little bit of that. And then we talk about the citrus and the tropical fruits and the stone fruits. We expect for some of those to show up as well inside this one. I love the packaging. For me, I'm not a brand guy. I hope I don't lose my job. I am a wine guy, but for Dow and what they're doing out of Paso Robles, on their cabs, on their blends, on their Chardonnays, and on this rosé is just, I think, outstanding. Again, everything now is moving from Napa and Sonoma, and we're going north or south. So we're going into Washington and Oregon, or we're going south in California and we're getting down to Paso Robles. It makes sense because the land isn't as expensive, right? We're still talking about similar climatic conditions, so we can still produce fantastic wines, but we don't have to break the bank. You have to spend $95 on a Napa cab, and you can get a $55 Paso Robles cab that just speaks to what California is doing, kind of thing. So for the folks who collect wine bottles, who does centerpieces with wine bottles, this is a fantastic look.
Beautiful bottle.
Very pretty.
If you buy the bottle just to have the bottle, then just make sure you have a friend or two who can enjoy the liquid in the bottle.
Exactly.
Let's don't buy just to pour out. But I think this fits the whole gamut, kind of thing.
We have a friend who just buys bottles and sticks them around for years on a shelf. Like, what is this?
When you say we, who you talking about?
Well, I'll tell you after. We all know her. Yeah. But right,
person.
So let us help you, and then we can fill it with some tap water or something.
There you go.
But there's some great stuff coming out of Paso for real.
It's incredible. So we've seen the explosion in rosé wines, but we've seen the explosion in Paso Robles. When I joined Bristol 5 years ago, we only had Justin from Paso Robles, and Justin was a little bit more of a premium, right? The cab is like $60+ bucks.
Wow.
Isosceles, which is their blend, is $100+ bucks. And since then, we brought in Dow, who kind of brought some validity to what's happening in Paso Robles. And then after that, we brought in J-Law, again, mid-tier, and that's and we tasted that here on radio as well. And now everybody's just expanding. There's one or two others from Paso that we just brought in, and so now we'll be able to see in wine lists, it doesn't say California anymore. It will say Napa Valley, it will say Paso Robles, it will say Washington State, it will say Oregon, because these are now being fleshed out as their own regions producing fantastic wines that people will look at a wine list and say, you got an Oregon Pinot Noir? Oh, it's probably $16 a glass as opposed to $25 a glass for a French Pinot Noir, right? Whoa. You get an Oregon Chardonnay.
Yeah.
It's probably $12, $14 a glass as opposed to a Burgundy Chardonnay at $18 or $20 or $22 a glass. Kind of.
And you know you're still going to enjoy it.
And you know you're still going to enjoy it, most importantly.
So are you seeing this now where customers are like just sticking to the west coast of the U.S. with their purchases. They don't even look at European brands, and
they are, and that's why we try to find interesting ways of pushing these brands in the front of them. I mentioned we're coming into the radio here that I leave for Burgundy, France on Saturday, and I know for a fact before I go, coming back, that my mantra for the rest of this year is going to be no. We're only talking French wines. Nope. We're only tasting French wines. Nope. Forget the fruit forward, high alcohol. Let's talk about balance, structure.
For the rest of the shows that we do, that we're just doing French.
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Just so we can break the ice, right? J'ai parlé un petit français. I'm brushing up on my French. But we've realized that the West Coast represents what our palate enjoys, but we have sophisticated drinkers who could appreciate what the opposite side of the wine world has to show. But it's through that exposure or lack thereof that they indulge in it or lack thereof. And so I'm going to make it a mission that we do some old world stuff.
Okay.
For the rest of the year. Okay.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so rosé again. Summer is the perfect time for rosé, right? Yep. So yeah, and then I saw you had some other rosés on special when I was in this in the store. I stumbled in the store and stumbled across that. So this is a great time at Bristol. Lots of wonderful deals.
There is, and so we a couple of things. So our every month we have sales and discounts going on, but seasonally we do some things. So we'll have a summer light white and rosé sale. That probably information on that will come out, any day now. And
light white and rosé.
It's seasonal appropriate. So we just want to make it that much more attractive price point wise for you to enjoy. But on any given week, we're also evaluating what inventory looks like. And so Tori would say, yeah, I got plenty of this, but I got some big accounts that's ordering it. Let's just do a nice little 2-week kind of thing. So you can walk in our store today and realize your wine of choice is not on sale, and walk in next week and realize that Tori just said, nah, I got too much inventory. 2 weeks, we'll drop it down 25% kind of thing. In addition to our standard summer sale, light white, our warehouse sale that's going to come around inside October, and then our Christmas sale that's going to come in December kind of thing. So it's always something new and interesting and discounted inside of Bristol store for you to take advantage of.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And Tori just had a nice discount the other day on his gin. Sorry, I know this is a wine conversation, but I had to buy me a bottle of Grey Whale gin at that discount.
Which
price.
one is it? What's the brand?
Grey Whale gin.
Grey Whale.
Grey Whale.
Oh. Yeah, what's special about that? We'll get back to wine. Kyle, sorry.
Where's that from?
Because gin is
California again.
Gin is somebody's drink. But what's special about it?
That's why you stumbled.
What's drink? How's this compared to some other ones?
We'll say make it special.
Hendrix and the botanicals in it.
Right.
Yeah, this will be on a Hendrix. Yeah, 7 different botanicals, and that's what gin is all about now. Is the infusion of these botanicals and the health benefit that it brings, and then the taste profile that it brings. People drink Gordon's, but when you ask them about Hendrix, they want it specifically in a specific style.
You gotta have your cucumber. Of course.
The essence of all of those things are opened up.
Right.
This gin sits along that same line.
Okay. Nice
we're
blue bottle.
Yeah. We're about obscured brands.
Yeah.
Right? And so while everybody else drinks Hendrix, and it's nothing against Hendrix, it's Grey Whale is right there, pound for pound. Yeah.
And what's the price point? Around the same as Hendrix?
50 bucks, 45 bucks.
30.
35.
Oh.
35.
Yeah,
35.
not bad at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't. Yeah. We might have to change this from morning blend to afternoon something to do a gin tasting or something.
Right. Yeah, we got a late afternoon show once every few weeks.
Evening
we
blend.
do cocktails and stuff. All right. So
this is Dow Rosé.
Yeah. What do you smell here, Chester?
It's it has a very nice nose. I can tell you that.
First thing I smell,
it's fruity.
smell like Fruit Loops
fruity.
and candy.
There you go.
Fruity,
Something
it's fruity.
candied.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it. I'm 100% on that. Something
You're right.
candied.
Yeah, it's candy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm good stuffy. So.
What? Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Tastes like mortal. It tastes like more.
Delicious.
Yeah, that's nice.
Delicious. Wow. Dow. You guys are crazy. It's just clean. It's smooth.
It's clean.
It's
is a good description.
You still get the fruit character, but it doesn't dominate. You get the acid character, but it doesn't dominate. You know, it's smooth on the palate. This, unfortunately, is on the Benin table.
What?
Yeah.
How?
And that's just based on inventory levels. So if it does take off and people just like, oh no, we really like this, then hopefully we can keep rotating 7 bottles.
Now you said this was different from the Dow that we had last year? Or
No, different vintage.
Different vintage.
Same wine, same grape varieties. It's just a different vintage.
There's particular vintages on the Benin or Dow Rosé?
Dow Rosé is on the
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
For right now.
Yeah.
These things are always changing. There are always conversations inside the office. You know, are we really going to delist this?
That is a really good rosé.
You should bring 7 cases back in.
So why? What's the hot rosé? What's the one that's doing the best right now?
It's been doing the best since rosé took off, and that's Whispering Angel.
Whispering Angel.
And then Minuti. People drink Minuti like it's water. Minuti, Minuty. Yeah, and we got a couple of SKUs from them. But the entry level Minuti, people drink it like water. But between the two of those, people know Whispering Angel, and Whispering Angel kind of put rosé on the map, and so people have the preference of drinking that. And then Minuti just hits the right price point and the taste profile. But I've mentioned here on this show before, our go-to in terms of the wine division that we like is the Chateau Burn, and their full line. I think we tasted the Emotion before. They have an Inspiration. They have the Chateau de Burn Estate. But they're serious about wine, you know, a Michelin star restaurant on property, 5-star accommodations on property. So they're just serious about what it is that they do, rosé wine kind of thing.
And where are they?
They're in Provence, France as well.
Nice. So he's asking, what's the name of that gin again?
Grey Whale Gin.
Grey Whale.
Nice blue bottle.
I am so sorry for disturbing this wine conversation about gin.
I told you we've got to do a spirit show.
We got to get it in.
Yeah, so even if it's separate from this, right, you do something.
This Dow Rosé,
this is hidden.
It is very good. And so even though it's on Benin table, go pick it up.
Pick it up. Jess is really fighting for this. It shouldn't be on the Benin table.
No, neither should this A to Z wine works.
Totally agree with him.
Go pick it up and then go beg for it after that.
There you go.
So how much more of these do you have?
Oh, I got pallets of this.
Okay,
I got pallets of this. So this is around for a while. It'll be discounted for a while.
You should have a rosé party. I mean, that is a really good rosé.
I hope. Two things. Don't tempt us, but I hope the boss isn't listening because we'll walk right back. So when's the rosé party?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So if you have any questions, folks, text us 422-4796 or tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or even call in 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free 242-300-5720. All right, so you mentioned already the Bahamian taste testing that you have coming up. Give people, you say you can only accommodate 30 people.
Yeah, so we usually do a monthly tasting. What's new in the cellar? We're still going to do that. We're going to do that on July. Sorry, just getting my dates here correct. On Thursday, July 27th, right? So you should see some information about that coming out on Monday. People say, you're talking about a tasting on the 6th, but there's no information yet. It's only 30 seats.
So we always have this
No, not yet. But we always do this, right? We come in, we announce it on the radio, and then we put out our social media stuff because today's Wednesday. We know by Friday we'll have 30 persons in this tasting. So what we're doing on Thursday, the 6th of July, between 7 and 9, inside the store at Premier Crew, we're working with Full House Catering. There's a Chef Jamal and Chef Richmond Fowler, who are going to put together just some small bites of Bahamian-inspired dishes. So instead of the traditional conch fritter, we're going to do some conch croquettes, right? Just nicely shredded conch. It's all about the conch, less of the herbs, but more of the conch flavor, and it's going to come with a nice sauce on the side of it. We're going to do. Sorry, just let you know. I want to give correct information. Right. So, conch croquettes with a guava remoulade. A nice little guava kind of how do I want to put this? Like chutney kind of thing.
Wow.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to do some cracked conch bites with mango tartar.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do a conch ceviche. And then we're going to do a guava duff, classic guava duff with the rum sauce. And we're going to put some pairings on the side of it. And so for those who believe that bear and conch ceviche or conch salad is the best thing, this is your tasting. Right?
Wow.
For those of you who believe that guava duff should be eaten on its own and there's no wine that sits extremely well on the side of it, this is your tasting as well.
But this Dow would go well with some of those things as well, wouldn't it?
You kind of like letting the secrets of the bag. I would say this though, this rum bar or Sauvignon Blanc for sure is going to show up at that tasting.
Definitely.
Probably one of the sparklings that we would have done here on the show before. I'm thinking the Blanc from the Le Host Champagne. That's going to show up as well. And I'm going to find an interesting Riesling that I think will elevate our guava duff experience. And this is just to show folks, hey, you can go into your restaurants and have your Bahamian classics and still ask for an appropriate glass of wine to give you that complete experience.
Wow. I think for the sweet, we should pop out a Sauterne. People don't really
understand and appreciate. So when we talk about the sweetness and the boy, you're spot on that one. So the Sauterne is literally this interesting sweet from Bordeaux that we'll bring out. I like that, Tori. That what the winemaker did was allow a fungus to engulf the entire vineyard.
A what now?
And dry it out to like prunes.
Raisinize the grapes.
Raisinize the grapes. And then we go through the winemaking process.
That was intentional?
Very intentional.
Okay.
Because we move all of the water.
Way more sweeter than a
Right. So we removed all of the water. Because don't forget now, when we started this conversation last year, we did a profile as to what's in this bottle of wine.
Right.
80 to 90% of it is water.
Right.
Right? Coming from the grape itself. So if I dry out the grape and remove a lot of that water, everything else that's left is just super concentrated.
Oh my goodness.
And then I go through the winemaking process with that super concentrated stuff that's left. I end up with a super sweet wine. But quality. I've lost so much water that this bottle of Sauvignon Blanc that we have in the front of us that we say is $35, the exact same from a Sauterne is going to be $100. Wow. Because I lost so much liquid.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I preserved a lot more of the good qualities in it, and I'm showing it at a higher.
So
that's spot on.
So that's a syrup.
No, it's just quality sweet, and it's a different taste profile. But you would appreciate that you remove a lot of the things and just wanted to concentrate on the fruit character and the natural sugar in it. The syrup is what some other folks do when they add all kind of glucose and sucrose and stuff,
Yes,
like
true.
by the pounds to their bottle.
Wow. Okay. All right. All right. So you got to sign up for that. The space is going to be limited.
So if you're listening right now, you have a heads up because the flyer won't come out until tomorrow, Thursday. But you could jump on and send an email right now to kyle.stubbs@bristol.bs, and you're ahead of the class. I guarantee you. Right, because everybody's celebrating independence and everybody wants to take in something Bahamian. The entire month of July, we put this out tomorrow. Friday, we're going to be fully booked with 30 persons.
Absolutely.
And
how much is it per person?
It's going to be $65 per person.
That's good.
Yeah, it's nothing. 6 wines, so 2 wines per dish. We, have some fun with it. We'll vote which wine was the best on its own, which pairing came out on top. But it's literally for us to say, you know what, we've been talking this talk, come join us so we could all walk this walk kind of thing.
This is July
6th, Thursday, July 6th. We're heading right into the holiday weekend.
Yeah, wow. All right, so you've got that, and you've got some formal wine education opportunities as well.
Super. I'm big on it. So, we are, but I'm super big on education. And so we've reached out to some of our partners, but of course the hotel folks, they like to make sure that their managers are sorted out. And in a lot of cases, I don't want to cause any problems. There are a lot more Bahamians that work as lying staff inside the hotels. Those are the folks who I want to get exposed and introduced to this formal education. It brings a level of confidence and competency table-wise. They instantly see increase on their gratuity because they no longer have conversations about food.
Right.
The guest has the conversation about food. They have conversation about wine, right? There's in a lot of cases there's no dish on a menu that equates the price point of some of the wines. So it makes sense that you're a little bit more comfortable with wine than you are for food. If somebody wants a steak, they're going to come in and ask you for a steak. But if you leave them there, then that's the only thing they have. But your competency and confidence level allows you to say, hey, this steak is elevated with a Dow Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's 3 of you. So let's talk about a bottle and the reserve bottle that I have in the back for you, as opposed to 3 glasses and coming back and topping up this table.
They also won't likely ask you for another steak.
They are factual, right? And so you would need to be comfortable with, they might ask you for another glass of wine or a different wine, or why this wine. And so we just want to be leading the elevation of our service team members. So we have a WSET program, which is the Wine and Spirit Educational Trust. They're based out of London, but they do a lot of their work out of Miami. We partner with a school in the Cayman Islands called Wine School 3. And they will be facilitating virtually WSET level 1 and 2. And then between Tori and myself, and Tori is a successful level 2 participant from the wine school.
Great.
We will invigilate the examinations here, right? And so just so folks understand that people are taking this serious, we have 10 folks that signed up from 4
you said
seasons.
invigilate, so they're definitely serious.
Yeah. So we have 10 folks that signed up already from 4 seasons. Sapatel is putting 8 persons forward.
Oh my goodness.
And SLS has reserved 4 spots for level 1 and 2 spots for level 2. So this is us just putting it out to anybody who knows somebody that's in the service industry. This is your time to get an international recognized certification.
Wow.
You get a pin with it, and it brings a level of oomph to what it is that you do in the service industry. Those will be starting on level 1 starts on the 22nd of July, and we're talking about 2 classes, the 22nd and the 29th. 3 hours each.
That's it.
And then you sit an exam.
Okay.
And you're level 1.
Wow.
Right? And then we're talking about July 18th, 25th, and August 2nd for level 3. And then you sit an exam on the 9th of August. And you will have your 2 pins. You'll be considered a junior psalm. And I could stop saying there's just one psalm in the country. And we could really now have this army that I spoke about 5 years ago when I joined Bristol's, just really elevating what it is that we do wine-wise here inside the country. And it only makes sense because it's a billion-dollar industry. The hotels pay some of these wine experts handsomely. And I just think it's time my brothers and sisters jump in on this.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Definitely. This is very exciting.
Yeah.
Wow. Right. So I think we'll have more time to talk about this
Most
again
definitely.
in our next segment. Yeah. Okay. Always a lot of exciting things to talk with you about. Kyle Stubbs, Tori Saunders, great, wonderful things happening. So we're not just having fun. This is serious business, right?
It is. And so I'm just gonna slide this in, and I'm certain she's listening. I joined Queen Mother on her expedition to Ghana.
Oh,
so we would need to talk about palm wine and one or 2 things they have going on in
She
Ghana.
didn't tell me about that.
She kept that a secret.
Yeah, because we've been messaging all morning. She sent me pictures from Ghana.
She kept that a secret.
Okay. Palm wine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Different approach, different taste profile, slightly higher alcohol, but it's just interesting.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. Ginger wine, and like our brothers in Ghana, they're just onto some stuff.
I was in, was it Honduras, where they had cashew wine?
Yeah, there you go.
You've had that before?
I haven't, but that sounds and makes a little bit more sense.
It's very
interesting. Yeah.
People are doing
we drink
things.
apple cider here, but in Canada they do apple wine. You know, so.
Oh, she's definitely listening, so you should respond. Kyle Stubbs, Tori Saunders, thank you so much
Always
for
a
being here.
pleasure.
Bristol, always a great time. Chester, thank you so much.
Always a pleasure.
I'll see you again next week. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend Business and Morning Blend right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Morning Blend Business brought to you in part by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. Pick up today's National Guardian for the latest business news in the Guardian Business section. Everybody have a wonderful day. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.